Halo guys, sorry guys tadi nggak pertandingan Homebois jaringan bermasalah guys, tertutup guys. Selanjutnya kita tunggu guys skornya FLUX versus FLUX. Lihat dari time yang tertera di layar ini, saat ini 50 menit ke depan lagi guys. Buat kalian yang masih pengen buat kopi atau ini Indomie mungkin buat mie hari ini masih sempat guys. Mari kita lihat terputus guys jaringan internet. By the way, selamat ya guys ya untuk supporter Homebois ya. Selamat, congratulations berhasil menyingkirkan Ego Esport tuan rumah. Mutil kawan-kawan di Homebois. Mungkin suara gue kedengaran kurang keras ya karena lagu clubbingnya lebih keras nih guys. Gua kecilin tuh guys suara musiknya guys, ini guys yang dari Rusia nya gedean nih suaranya.
future. saying words in my head, filling my mind with these images, yeah. And it's the way that you look at me, filling my mind with these images, yeah. You've got me saying words in my head, filling my mind with these images, yeah. And it's the way that you look at me, filling my mind with these images, yeah. You've got me saying words in my head, filling my mind with these images, yeah.
future. Games of the future. Games of the future.
Halo guys, selamat malam guys. Nah, gue kembali lagi nih. Kita tunggu guys ya, 5 menitan lagi kabar menurut info dari time countdown yang ada di layar. 5 menitan lagi buat Express dan FLUX. Sebelumnya gue ucapin thank you guys untuk kalian yang udah gabung guys, bersedia nonton melalui channel gue. Thank you, terima kasih banyak. Thank you, Terima. Ini bentar guys, ini jaringannya bentar guys, gue gak tau nih jaringannya apakah jaringan di sini atau dari sini. Guys, 4 menit lebih lagi, 4 menitan lah, 4 menitan lagi guys. Stay tune ya guys. Sebelumnya info untuk kalian guys yang mungkin kelewatan nonton guys 2 game sebelumnya. Twisted Mind versus Burmese Goals dimenangkan oleh Burmese Goals 2-0. Twisted Mind otomatis tersingkir. Di pertandingan kedua tadi ada Homebois versus Dewa United, tim tuan rumah, dimenangkan oleh Homebois. Esport sebagai tim tuan rumah otomatis tersingkir guys. Ada 2 pertandingan sisa lagi yang belum jalan, yaitu Ego Esport versus FLUX. Sama RCC versus tim FLUX. 2 tim lagi akan tersingkir malam ini guys. Yang mana nanti akan tersingkir itu kita akan saksikan sama-sama dalam setiap pertandingannya. Satu tim tuan rumah sudah tersingkir. Berarti tinggal 1 lagi tim tuan rumah, yaitu Royal Cyber Esport Club RCC. Itu juga tim tuan rumah dari Rusia. Stay tune. Kayaknya akan jadi pertarungan sengit juga. Di 2 pertandingan yang sebelumnya tadi juga sengit banget guys. Mungkin ada yang nonton, ada juga mungkin yang kelewat ya. Kelewat ya, sayang sekali. 2 pertandingan tadi betul-betul seru. Sama-sama saling mendapatkan tiket untuk ke perempat final. Sekitar 30 detikan lagi. Sorry, 1 menitan lagi ya. 1 menit lagi guys. Oke, kurang dari 1 menit lagi.
Games of the future. Games of the future.
Game of the future.
In a
Okay,
world
guys.
that seeks a balance between metaverses and healthy lifestyle, video games and traditional sport, live shows and
Game
web
of the future
entertainment,
udah mulai,
we found
berarti
the
terakhir
only way
pertandingan
to
akan
harmony.
ke-
Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phygital, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds.
Digital.
This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phygital competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phygital experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of phygital sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top phygital tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting phygital era. So stay tuned, join our global phygital community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
Hey, всем привет! Это игры будущего, групповые...
No, привет. My dog was killed on the group stage, and I'm looking for the killer. Group stage, MLBB players. Some of you killed my dog, and I'm gonna find you. Ну что, не видал ли ты где собачку мою?
Нет, не видел.
Нигде? Вот такая бегает. Дружочек зовут.
Точно нет.
Do you know where is my dog?
No,
Why not?
I don't know.
Did you stole my car? Did you? No. Don't laugh. I'm a real dangerous guy.
Maybe Mina.
Pace.
Is my hero gonna be strong?
Oh, Ira.
I think yeah, strong. Unstoppable. I think if we face the brain, you can kill the brain.
Oh. Oh, really?
You get the pencil to Coach Daki.
Do you scary of me?
No, not really.
Why not?
I'm not scared of Baba Yaga.
Do you know where's my dog?
No, I don't know.
I can find the pencil and punish everyone. Do you scare of me?
Not really.
Скажи, пожалуйста, как тебе групповой этап?
Да, пока прекрасно. Пока что все получается. Мы ждем следующий матч.
So you won,
Yeah, we won. Yeah.
and you glad?
What?
You glad?
Yeah, I'm glad.
You happy?
Yeah.
Where's your smile?
Yeah.
We're going against RCC.
Oh.
I think they're so strong. Yeah, just like you.
It was a very close fight. I'm actually sweating right now.
Maybe it's because of me? Because I'm so hot right now, close to you.
Sure, if that's what you want to think.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Anjay. Mana cari anjingnya? He's looking his dog.
Where is my dog? Do you know where's my dog?
Dog?
Yes, I lost my dog. Someone killed
Di
it.
dalam kantong ya.
I think one of my teammates told me just now
This friendly guy actually killed my dog. He told me that you killed my dog.
Yes.
Why? Is it delicious?
Yeah.
Yummy? Of course my dog is yummy because I feed him. Where is my dog?
We don't know where is your dog. Get out вообще.
Give me my dog.
Не дам.
This is my dog. Now I win. And you have to win the tournament.
Хорошо, спасибо за поддержку.
Welcome back to the Phygital Games 2024 Mobile Legends. My name is Wolf and I'm with the War Barbie. We're going to be your casters for series number 3 and 4 of today. I'm doing great, War Barbie. How about you?
Oke, welcome. Thank you
Oh,
yang
I'm feeling
baru
fantastic and doing great as
bergabung
well.
guys.
I'm
Ayo
stoked
kita
for the
sama-sama nonton
left
bareng.
games for today.
Kita ramaikan nonton
Witness
bareng ini guys.
even more action.
Digital Mobile Legend hari ketiga.
There's going to be a lot
Pertandingan
of action for
ketiga
sure,
untuk
because
malam
this is
ini.
Burn Slash going up against
Burn X
FLUX
Flash versus
which we are all excited
Fire
about.
Flux
Then
Turkey.
it's going to be RCC going up against Team Flash. We just saw that video where I forgot his name, but he seems like a John Wick personality and he's looking for his
Sebentar
dog.
guys, ayo kita lihat dulu. Tadi kata
So
dia ngomongnya
that's
RCC Team
he
Flash.
said that RCC
Takutnya
needs to
RCC
win
Team
to become
Flash
the
duluan
champion
ini.
of this tournament, and we'll see about that later. But for now, I wanted
Apa
to ask
RCC
you,
Team
War
Flash
Barbie,
duluan
about
ya?
this upcoming series. Of course, this is what we need to focus on first, like the Burn X Flash versus FLUX Esports.
Oh,
We have a lot
Flash,
of time to talk
Fire
about this
Explode.
team, so let's start with I don't know, maybe Burn X Flash first. Anything that you wanna say about this team?
I'm not sure. I can think of them as a strong, upper middle team.
Baru bergabung,
But
thank
they
you guys.
can,
Yang baru
totally
bergabung,
surprise
thank you.
with like
Silakan
in
mari
this
kita nonton
tournament,
bareng-bareng.
I saw a lot of things
Pertandingan akan
when
berlangsung
teams
sebentar lagi guys.
are like mentally different. Sometimes they come mentally different and start to play much more better. So I think this team have a potential for this kind of improvement.
Yeah, we saw from Burn X Flash that they have if I'm correct in counting, this is like 4 Filipino players, which is they're based in Cambodia, but they have 4 imports. So that's that definitely attracted a lot of attention here for the digital games. But I wonder what's your overall thought about that. What do you think that a team like Burn X Flash had a lot of imports or a lot of foreign players in their squad? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think that's surely a good idea because Filipino players are one of the best players in the on the
Yes,
team.
gue di Burn Express tuh banyak
it's,
pemain
like
Filipina
regular
tuh.
stuff to be
Banyak
wanting to
Filipina
have
dalam.
players who like have a high experience in competing to have more chances to win the tournament.
Yeah, and they have 4 of them playing, which is interesting because this is I think Games of the Future as well as digital games, they're probably the only tournament where something like this will be allowed, right? I don't think that if we go back to like MPL Cambodia that it will happen, but at the very least we're gonna see them in action. So far, have you been watching some of their matches at least?
Yeah, I was briefly watching the matches, like not analyzing them completely, but I was watching some of the highlights. So the players have a big, in my opinion, personal skills, like micro skills are on point, as all like Filipino and Indonesia player obviously does, but like the strategic aspect and the macro aspect can be improved.
Yeah,
Macro and micro.
for sure. And they will be going up against FLUX Esports. Now I know that you've casted some of their games for FLUX Esports. So I wonder, what's your general idea of whatever happened to FLUX Esports? Do you think that they are also in the you mentioned that Burn X Flash are in the mid tier, so not the top team, not the lowest team as well. I wonder if you feel that way with FLUX Esports too.
I would say like upper side of a middle, like
Okay.
like upper middle team, like and with FLUX, I think they are really good, but they are lacking one thing, is rhythm control, which is the hardest thing to do. They are playing like ultra aggressively, but like
Yang baru bergabung, thank you. Terima kasih banyak guys yang baru bergabung.
the certain attacks, and sometimes they need to like calmly
Kita
wait
akan
a
masuk
little bit
pada
for
fase
better
drafting.
opportunity to engage, and it seems like they just go
Drafting.
no matter what. So this is like in my
Bentar,
opinion,
guys,
this is
bentar
the
lagi. Oh,
only
ini
thing.
udah.
If
Udah
they
jadi
fix,
mancing,
they
guys.
can be like the maybe even winner of the tournament because they have potential. for sure. Their tempo is very, very high.
I do agree with you. I think when we look at FLUX, when they went up against Blacklist, for example, like their draft is okay. The way that they're playing in team fights is okay. It's just that when they're facing up against a team that's as disciplined as Blacklist International, they can get punished. And then when we saw them going up against Nightmare Esports, now you see their full potential. There, I believe it was a one-sided game number 2. Then game number 1 was a little bit close, but it's also really strong showing coming out from FLUX. And I kind of want to ask more about like your what you said, like rhythm control. I love it. I love that term, right? And I do agree that that's something that they should be improving on. So apart from choosing being aggressive or not, what else can you say about that quote unquote rhythm control that we can see from the team?
A part of that, I mean, it seems like Blacklist kind of understood very, very fast what to do against FLUX yesterday's, and the part of the reason I think is because these like MPL matches are in Philippines, like MPL matches are like more strategic. They kind of wait for better opportunity and not engaging anywhere. Only engaging when it's like lower risk, higher reward situation, and they seems like understand this exceptionally good. But in MDL, they have more like aggressive gameplay, less strategic, but more like micro gaming. So I think they understand this play style as well. Like let's call it like brawl play style, like smart brawl. Let's
Like
call
brawl.
it. So second game, they like, okay, you want to play this kind of games? I mean, we are experienced in this department as well. First game, they got caught a little bit with a slower draft. Didn't expect FLUX to go that aggressive in their jungle and pressure, and like, but the second game they just pick like this comp, like let's say traditional Blacklist comp, and the game was much more one-sided.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's a lot of observations that can be made with
Dan
how
mereka tuh kurang
MPL
ini
is
aja,
played,
guys.
like in the
Kurang.
Philippines, or how MDL is played. And if you compare it to other teams, yeah, it's much more,
Jam terbang ya.
I guess, systematic. That's why
Tanding melawan
most viewers
umpire
will
tim-tim
want
dari
to watch
Asia.
like MPL Indonesia, where there's a lot of action going on because they're
Strateginya
entertaining.
pasti
But, like,
beda kan.
when you want to really study a game, now you look at the games that can be found in MPL Philippines, which is more methodical, more systematic. And now that we already talked about like how the teams have played, I kind of want to ask you about the meta so far. We've casted different groups actually, so this is the first time that me and War Barbie will be joining together in a broadcast. We're usually just separated in groups, and from what I've seen in my group when I was casting, it's more about like Ruby. You can see still the Valentina being picked up, and there's a lot of Nathan actually. I've seen like 3 Nathan games in the recent games, but I wonder what's your general idea of the meta game that we have for Games of the Future?
I think it's divided by like 2 things. First is like how fast team can play, like how fast tempo team can maintain. Seems like upper teams, like let's call it this way, favorite teams, like mostly Filipino Indonesia teams, they can handle like super fast tempo games, like RRQ, for example. They play super high pace, and seems like this aspect is the first thing, because like meta comes later. When players understand the fundamentals right, like the time, the way they use their time, it's like more efficient than the enemy team. If this aspect is higher, like it doesn't matter what they pick. What it doesn't matter what they pick. Like we saw, like RRQ picking Layla, and this is like absolutely shows what I'm talking about. So it can be like one-sided, not because of the draft, but because of the like players' understanding of the game and let's say just speed running the game. Okay, they just so efficient in the time, and they have more plus seconds on the enemy rotation. It's not kind of because of the draft, it's because the player understand a lot of steps ahead and plays. But in terms of meta, seems like everything working here. Yeah, Ruby, I like Ruby, I like Nana rework. We saw Aurora super good bursting with like Twisted Minds games with Arlot and Aurora, Phantom Slash and the good ultimate on top of that was working all the games through. So me personally like this kind of wombo combos happening in the professional scene. But the meta, Ruby you mentioned, and it's so annoying hero. It seems like counter the aggressive playstyle of the enemy in terms of going back lane and trying to kill your damage dealers. Ruby absolutely counters this kind of stuff. So overall strong hero.
Yeah, you know what? That's interesting because I was
Ya bang, tadi
with
terputus
Miracle,
bang
Gideon. They
jaringan
were doing the
internetnya.
watch party
Jadi
earlier today,
yang
and they were just
satu lagi
saying
tadi kan
that, okay, why are
Jara
people
ya habis setelah
prioritizing this
Deadpool
Ruby,
itu
right? Maybe the
kan
games that they've watched, Ruby was
istirahat
just not successful.
di
In
Game of
fact,
Future lagi istirahat
when we watch
1 jam
series
lebih,
number
1 jam
one,
setengah per 2 jam.
2 games we saw Ruby, and 2
Jadi kan
games
off,
Ruby was ineffective, and
ada
even
ya
if you
banyak
look at the
yang
other
udah
games, not
balik-
that effective.
balik
So
badan lah
when we
istilahnya
see
gitu bang, makanya
the win rate of Ruby, it's
agak
just
sepi.
40%.
Nggak tahu nih nanti mungkin ya kalau
Teams
lagi
still like that. So
udah mulai main lagi nanti mungkin
and then I wonder, I wonder if that will be the case earlier on. Okay,
yang nonton mungkin
so
nambah lagi bang.
I believe War Barbie
Thank
that
you,
we will
Bang
be
Kevin
heading
Chow. Thank
into
you,
a
yeah.
break for now, for everyone to be prepared for our series number 1. So please don't go away, because Digital Games of Future 2024 Mobile Legends Bang Bang will be back after this break.
Ayo bang, yang belum subscribe mungkin bang bisa di subscribe bang channel saya bang. Kita tunggu 9 menit lagi guys. International Feed 9 menit lagi. Don't explain. Besok RRQ lawan siapa ya? Antara dua nih, kalau nggak lawan Homebois, lawan Indonesia. Siapa yang menang yang pertama? Bermes gol. Ini salah satu dari itu dia lawan. Bermes gol. guys, 6 menit lagi. Besok AP Brand ketemu Homebois lagi ya. nasib kemarin kalah ya orang itu kan. Jadi besok guys itu RRQ ketemunya Bournemouth Goals. Mulai pertandingan jam 6 sore waktu Indonesia Barat guys ya. Selanjutnya setelah itu AP Brand ketemu Homebois jam 7.50. Selanjutnya besok pertandingan ketiga itu Blacklist Internasional akan bertemu pemenang antara FLUX dengan FLUX yang sebentar lagi akan dimulai. Pemenangnya besok akan ketemu Blacklist jam 21.40 jam 9.40 malam waktu Indonesia Barat. Onic besok akan bertemu pemenang antara RCC dengan tim FLUX jam 11.30 setengah 12 malam waktu Indonesia Barat. Itu jadwal besok guys. Jadi RRQ ketemu Bournemouth Goals jam 6. Onic Esport akan bertemu pemenang antara RCC dengan tim FLUX yang nanti akan main di game keempat malam ini. Ini jadwal untuk besok guys ya. Jadwal besok ini guys. Jadwal pertandingan besok guys ya. Sambil kita tunggu guys, saat hampir 1 menitan setengah lagi. 1 menitan setengah lagi akan dimulai Flash versus FLUX. Untuk informasi aja buat kalian, besok pertandingannya ini guys. RRQ Hoshi bertemu Burmese Goals jam 6 sore. AP Brand bertemu Homebois jam 7.30 malam. Blacklist Internasional akan bertemu. Pemenang dan FLUX nanti. Onic akan bertemu pemenang antara RCC dengan tim Flash di pertandingan keempat hari malam ini guys. Oke, ini start lagi kayaknya akan dimulai guys. Kita masuk aja ke saluran channelnya Game of Future.
We're back in action for Digital Games of the Future 2024 Mobile Legends. My name is Wolf and I'm back with War Barbie. We saw that we will be casting the FLUX versus Burn Splash series, and we've already talked about some of the stuff. And I think that the last topic that we were on was when we were talking about the Ruby, and I really wanted to ask you your opinions about that hero. Do you really think that it's a hero that should be prioritized in the metagame that we have right now?
I think it's a great counter pick and prioritize. Like, I don't know, it's the kind of hero when you watching Ruby gameplay, it seems like it's like what is this? But when you actually play against Ruby, it's so much more than that. You always get this like little small stuns, always like I'm offended, and the second skill it's like have low cooldown, and it harasses you like a lot. So it seems like not that flashy type of hero, but it's like crowd control is super annoying. It might conceal a lot of skill casting, and it annoys a lot. So it's a big factor hero. But again, like when you watch the game, you kind of only can see like I'm offended maybe with the flicker and like wow, Ruby is great, but it's more than that. So yeah, I think Ruby should be prioritized, but maybe not on the X planes. It seems like more like on the weaker side in terms of X plane, because CC can easily get the upper hand on the lane, and not only CC, always going to clear the lane first and rotate to the team and forcing Ruby to like kind of on the heels.
Yeah, and I do get what you just said, because there's a lot of like good EXP laners out there, and Ruby is more like a very situational pick. Now, what I think is the reason why people or teams right now are prioritizing going the Ruby for the first pick is because of that flexibility, like the flex factor. You don't know if this Ruby is going for the roam role, or you don't know if the Ruby is eventually going for the normal roles like EXP, right? So maybe that's the reason why teams are taking that hero. But I'm just looking at the stats right now. So far, there has been 25 pickups on the Ruby, right? So that's a lot. And the win rate is just 40%. So not too shabby, but I think we saw the standings. We are at the quarterfinals of Games of the Future, single elimination, just to remind everyone. And we're going to be waiting for our next series. It's going to be Burning Slash going up against
Ruby, I think it's like a good both offensively and defensively a very versatile hero, especially defensively. If you need to like stop the aggression, maybe not kill the enemies, but just cool them down a little bit, because you always can like slow down with the first skill, kind of with the second, and you're always gonna like jump back if you use that smart. So it's gonna work. It's gonna enemy gonna have less aggression on you, and you gonna kind of hold to the mid-game stage, like for 6-7 minutes, and then Ruby can became a like initiator more like and help their team. So in my eyes, Ruby is the kind of hero who can help versus aggressive start to kind of start slow start if you want to like farm couple of items and only then start to like really kill the enemy and get the upper hand. So I think that's why Ruby has this kind of priority. It's either banned or picked.
Yeah. Okay, I do understand what you're trying to say. Maybe we're gonna talk about that later. For now, let's look at the screen and talk about FLUX, the team that will be facing Burning Flash. That's Rosa, Alien, Sunshine, Apex, 47, and TNZ. You know, I believe that I have a personal bias to this team, not because I am from the region or because I like the people out there, but overall the growth of this team.
Baru bergabung, thank you guys ya yang baru bergabung, thank you.
Then eventually now in M5 and then during MSC, really good stuff that you're seeing from that team. All right, so before we talk more about the team, let's look at the stats now. Most picks, as we mentioned, it's Ruby and Claude. Ruby with 25, but most banned hero still is the Joy. Do you think that Nolan and Joy are just two very strong heroes in the jungle role?
I think Joy is insanely strong, and Nolan.
Okay.
I think Nolan can be given and kind of countered, at least tried by some crowd control, because he don't have his Purify anymore on the ultimate, and you can try to kind of play on that factor. But the Joy, yeah, totally deserved ban in my eyes, and Matilda as well. And the Arlot, I think we saw sometimes teams picking Arlot, and he's insanely good. So yeah, sometimes people, it depends on the player's skill on a particular hero.
Sebentar lagi kita lagi menunggu untuk fase draft pick guys.
So yeah.
Kayaknya nggak lama lagi, mungkin kurang dari 3 menit lagi
what
nih.
I really like about both Nolan and Joy is that it's like they're heroes that kind of turn the jungle into a hyper carry, right? So you need a lot of attention, you need a lot of farm, which means that you have to be careful now what your side lanes will be. Your side lanes should be very strong. For example, if you go for a Nolan that needs a lot of farm or a Joy that needs a lot of farm, your gold lane should be a little bit independent, like Brody, right? Or maybe Bruno at a certain point. We don't go for heroes that are farm dependent like Claude and Ixia, because if you go Joy and Claude, now it's difficult to find the farm because if you're just getting the farm off of each other. So it's an interesting dynamic that I saw the teams actually use and follow in the meta game that we have right now. Apart from that, apart from the Joy, I was actually surprised that Claude is the priority. Any thoughts on that hero? Why it is all of a sudden the priority now? Because if you look back at the M5, Claude is getting picked up, but it's not like the top priority. You have Brody, Bruno, the priority in that lane. But yeah, right now in Games of the Future, why do you think the Claude is the focus now for the teams?
Thanks. That's a good question. I really think it's in terms of the hero, it's how hard to get full potential of the hero. Like if we take Brody or Bruno, it's pretty easy. I mean, there are some tricky stuff which you can do, like with on a Bruno, for example, with the second skill, like ball juggling, double ball, and the ultimate as well need to be timed. But it's apart of that, it's more like spamming double ball and getting like insane amount of damage. So it's pretty easy to get full potential on a Bruno. If we take Claude, it's absolutely different story. It's so hard to get full potential on this hero. I personally compare this hero to like Fanny or Lancelot in terms of like how hard to understand the fight and where to go and where to not to go, when and where. So I think Claude is being picked only because the players are super efficient on this hero and they can realize full potential of this hero. So I think Claude being picked because players are super skilled on the Claude, and on M5, like you know, that's a big factor when you are on stage and there are lights and cameras and there's the pressure, and it's much easier to play some kind of Bruno type of hero when you just like use your ball, juggle it a little bit, and then you do a double ball and gets insane amount of damage. And if you Claude, if you try to start 5 stocks and go basic attack, it's not gonna work. Like when you don't have items, it's not gonna work. So when your brain is kind of overheated and you get all of this pressure, it's much easier to play this, let's say, roughly like easier type of heroes. So, and the players are evolving, and we can see these kind of picks like Lancelot on the stage. I mean, for comparison, Lancelot and Funny, they are really strong and good heroes. But how often you can see them being picked?
Terima kasih
It's
banyak.
not
Thank you for
about,
joining
what do you
to
think? Because I think
my
it's
channel.
not about the hero being bad. It's more like the
Nico,
player cannot use fully this hero because it's so
Fizzy.
hard.
Okay. Now I have a
Indo,
little bit more understanding of what you're
ATM.
saying, right? It's really not about the heroes, but more about how people
She
play
said-
it, and because
Owi.
there are people like Claude now easily. But before
Hukuman
we
Filipina.
before
Mana
we
guys?
expand on that, let's welcome the teams right now on stage.
Burn
That's
X Flash.
Burn X Flash that you saw, and I think that they'll be
Hukuman
entering
Filipina.
the scene. As we have mentioned,
Sudah
they
dibilang.
have 4 of their players from the Philippines. But this is just for games of the future, right? Because you always have to remember, in local MPLs, you can only have 2 active imports, and you know, like majority should be from the local team. So yeah, that's Burn X
So
Flash.
guys, start lagi kita
And,
saksikan guys pertandingan guys.
Look at that sign.
Pasti
All
seru
right.
nih, guys.
Looking good. Very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
performance in the group stage, but
match.
unfortunately they weren't able to get the top 1
Nanti
slot because
live.
we can see Onic, they're just really good. Onyx is at a different level, but Burn X Flash, really good. Now it's FLUX. That
What does the
sunshine.
sign? What does the sign
yeah.
means? It's like super lag fans of Muay Thai. It's like kind
Rosa.
Really?
Mid lanernya Rosa.
I don't know actually. I have no idea. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. You know, who knows? Yeah, maybe we can ask them later on. I'll ask the Filipinos out there. Yeah. So you've seen this team, War Barbie, many times. Sometimes in the battlefield, actually, when you were technically up against them with your team, and now playing for games of the future. What else can we say about FLUX?
I mean, there's not much to say. Pretty strong team. Very good. I always liked that Turkish teams.
dari
Actually,
Turki
they
versus tim dari
have some kind of
Kamboja
unique
akan
play
kita
style,
saksikan
which
siapakah
like
yang akan
think less,
lanjut ke
act
babak
more
final
type
besok
of
dan
thing,
siap
and
di
it's
mana
not a
saja.
bad thing because like. In a game, thinking is actually way too slow. You gotta more rely on the reflexes and your like inner, I don't know how to say, inner feeling of the game. Let's say instincts. Yeah, and they seems like playing the game from that perspective, which is, in my opinion, very good and very fast
Oke,
and
kita
very
masuk
hard
ke
to
dalam
train.
draft pick.
Yeah. I think for FLUX, when you said that they have their unique play style,
1-2 menit
I think
depan kita akan masuk dalam
surely we
fase
can
draft pick, guys.
relate them to when they were
Sekali lagi
playing
thank you yang udah bergabung dan
Estes,
join
the healing
nonton
or the
bareng
support kind of lineup when
dengan gua
back
di
in the days.
channel
But I
gua.
think that they've
Thank you,
developed
terima
that
kasih
kind of play
banyak.
style already. It's not no longer the
Apresiasi
same.
untuk
It's like
kalian. Keren
like you said, act more, think less. Kind of strategy wherein now they're taking advantage of their highly mechanical players. For example, TMZ is improving a lot when it comes to his mechanics, and he's now a very scary player. And also, obviously, Rosa. Rosa has always been one of my favorite players after seeing him play during M4. The way that he's aggressive and the way that he's dominating his lane. And I think that now with this playstyle coming out from FLUX, we can feel that they are taking full advantage of their mechanical skill. Now, when we compare them together, this is the part where you can make your predictions already, right, Barbie? Because for me, I think
Ya,
that
kita ngeri
FLUX
prediksi dari
has
caster ya, guys,
a little
ntar ya.
bit more advantages because of their
Kita
chemistry
dengerin
and the
dulu
way that they're
prediksi dari
playing.
caster ya.
Obviously, Burnix Flash is a very strong team, but I think that in this particular matchup, FLUX might be the team that can win it. But how about you? What do you think will be the matchup here?
It's a good question. I think the FLUX have the let's put it this way, similar and predictable play style, but it doesn't mean it's easy to counter. Like, you know, it's easy to understand what your enemy going to do, but if you are in the game actually up against this kind of players, the tempo, the volume, the pressure they do on you, it's kind of a lot for you. Even though you knew this going to happen, it's still nothing changes that you knew that. So this is kind of that kind of matchup, in my opinion. Burn can like adopt, I think, different play styles, but you know, it's better to have like maybe one super effective weapon instead of like a lot of like medium effective weapons, you know, because you're still gonna win with the super effective one, even though it's only one.
Yeah,
so I think it's kind of this
No,
thing, how
casternya
good
sih
Burn could adapt to
mid-lanernya itu harus
the
kuat ya,
FLUX play
FLUX.
style, I think. But
Sementara itu Burn
on a
Express
different
kemungkinan akan bermain
perspective,
dengan
I
style
saw
yang
them
beda
playing
dari dua pertandingan
like
sebelumnya.
latest
Prediksinya.
digital games, I guess, from this. There was a meta, you remember, like Angela and Uranus like skipping the lane and like insane sustainability meta. And if I'm not mistaken, they were playing this kind of thing with the carry, and it was good. So it was kind of different play style, and they performed good with it. So it's really hard to judge. It's I think it's the type of matchup when.
Oke guys, kita masuk dan tiba di fase draft.
Is going to be as we expected from the team.
Jadi kita lihat tim kedua tim akan milih hero yang mana aja dan akan ngeban mana aja.
Well, we don't have to wait
kita
any
coba
longer,
tebak prediksi guys,
because now
apa
we
ya
have the draft
hasilnya
for
akan
game
seperti
number
apa.
1 of Burnix Flash going up against FLUX Esports.
Welcome ya, welcome,
Already
thank
the
you yang
Novaria
masih
being
nonton
banned
guys,
out.
thank you,
A very strong hero, and
keren.
Rosa, a player that can actually really play this kind of hero, your poke kind of mages. He excels in that. Like, remember when he was playing all those Farsa, those Eves. Right now he's playing for playing like this role
Welcome yang
where
baru
he's like sitting
bergabung
back
guys,
and
thank you, selamat
exciting stuff.
datang.
And so I think the Novaria just is such a good ban. But apart from that, any other heroes that you should be banning out against FLUX Esports?
No, I think you just ban heroes which is uncomfortable just for you, against you. It's not like you should ban some certain player
Dua
who
hero udah
plays some
di-ban
kind
guys
of
ya,
hero.
Binifer
You just need to ban the hero itself, which is uncomfortable
Dan
and
Novaria.
might be picked, because FLUX has such
Novaria
wide
dan
variety of
Binifer
hero
udah di-ban.
pool, so it's I think it's ban, and trying to ban one of the players, it's unnecessary.
Okay.
Dua apa itu?
Yeah, understandable.
Paramis
The
ya,
Paramis
Paramis
is gonna
sudah
be there.
di-ban.
Burnix Flash is banning out all of those Rosa heroes. Just shut down the main player from FLUX Esports. Like I said, the uncomfortable heroes. At
Matilda
least
juga
you
di-ban.
know, in the perspective of Burnix Flash, they will be uncomfortable when they face up against both the Fire and the Firemis. So that's what they're gonna be banning out. Do you think that Assassins will be opened up in this game? And if so, who's gonna take who? Who's gonna take the Joy? Who's
Welcome
gonna
guys
take
yang baru bergabung.
I think
Nonton
FLUX
via
gonna take the
channel
joy,
gua.
but
Welcome.
the first
Selamat
pick is
datang.
in Burnix Flash, so they might try to
Apresiasi
go
guys,
with like
support
Ruby,
kalian,
keep the
thank you,
joy.
terima kasih banyak.
I don't know, but it's still a good idea on Brass being banned, by the way. Kind of unexpected.
Yeah. Well, I think that they really want to secure the Assassins now just because of that. Because of that ban, I think that's really what we can expect. So,
and it's like now it's the Ruby, Arlot, and the Joy are open, so it's like 3 heroes. They can give Joy. I mean, they can give Ruby probably for Burn and take Arlot and Joy maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see what prioritizes.
Yeah, I think if you're FLUX, only ban Joy. So they open up the Nolan here for Burn X Flash.
Yeah. Nolan, Rube, Arlott are open.
Yeah. What do you prio? If you're in their position, if you're in the position of Burn X Flash, what would you ban here?
I
What
mean,
would you first pick here?
it's hard to tell. Like, if they go for Nolan, if FLUX take Ruby and Arlott, it's going to be so hard for Nolan to play, to breathe. Even now, you gotta like snowball from the early game. Try to snowball from the early game. They go for Ruby, like, and now if FLUX goes for Nolan, it's going to be not that effective, but it's like it's only on paper. It's only on paper.
That's
you can
right,
still
that's
go
right.
for Nolan and outplay the Ruby, so that's always a factor. It's not like it's like, you know, it's like a classic, like let them go funny. I'm gonna pick Fufra. And what?
Oke, satu hero sudah di-pick, sudah dipilih ya oleh Bonmus
I'm gonna go
Flash.
Fufra. It's not work like that.
Ruby.
Okay.
Burn and
Yeah,
Flash.
I understand.
Semua
But
hero
yeah,
pilihan
FLUX
mereka pertama
Esports,
Ruby.
they
Nana guys,
they will
ada
go for the
Nana dipilih oleh
a hero that can
Fire
actually
FLUX.
answer assassins in a way, because I always say that Nana is a mage that not scared about assassins, because you have the passive anyway. So if you
Selanjutnya
get bursted,
Cloud,
you still have the passive, and also
Cloud
your Molina is actually
dipilih
very strong
oleh
against assassins. Like if you time
Fire
it well,
FLUX sebagai goal laner
it's
ya.
easy to control the assassin. So that's that.
Oke, berikutnya apa
Immediate
lagi?
Claude from
And
FLUX
Claude,
Esports.
wow, and the Nolan is still open, and the Arlott, like, I
Joe
like
sama
the
Joy
energy
sama
of that
Barat
kind of
udah
draft.
di-ban ya. Joy sama Barat ya.
Like, Burn wanted to kind of dictate the narrative of the draft, and FLUX kind of don't even bother to think about this kind of stuff and just pick what they want. This is a good sign
Welcome yang baru
of
bergabung guys, welcome
confidence.
sama kasih, selamat datang.
Yeah. Well, Burn X
Fredrin
Flash will just pick up
dan
the Vexana
Vexana.
because they know that there's no
Fredrin dan
Valentina
Vexana.
potential anymore from FLUX
Dipilih oleh
Esports.
Burn
So
X
they're
Flash.
okay. Picking up the Vexana this time.
Jadi
Okay,
tiga
decent
hero udah
laner
dipilih ya
compared
oleh
to
Burn X Flash.
Danana. Fredrin
Pertama Ruby,
is their
Fredrin, dan
choice for
kemudian
their
Vexana.
utility jungler.
Sementara itu
Although
di
there's a
Fire
chance that
FLUX
this can be
masih
this
Nana
can be
dan
flexed,
Cloud.
but
Nanti
for
kita
now, that's
tunggu
what they
tiga
wanted
hero
to
lagi apa
pick
yang
up.
akan dipilih mereka.
I do
guys.
feel that just imagine if Burn X Flash
Sekarang
secures the
nge-ban
Arlott
lagi nih.
eventually later on.
Hero
Look
apa
at the
yang akan
combo.
di-ban?
You have Fredrin plus the Ruby, so
Xbox,
much CC.
Xbox,
So that means that the
Xbox
Arlott will have
dipilih oleh
unlimited
FLUX.
vengeance. So
Xbox.
that's something that I can expect that Burn X Flash can look in the future. For now, FLUX with the Export. What's up with this? Everybody's just picking up Export recently.
Menarik ini,
why
menarik
not?
nih. Ada Nana, ada
It's strong
Xbox.
the hero. It's like we discussed about the Ruby. It's not that. I mean, it's flashy, of course, when it's like spins and explodes. It's flashy, but I mean, he cannot burst the target really fast, and he's more like of support kind of things, damage support. Like, I don't know, when he builds the slow, he shines. He shines. I think it's because of the Ruby and the Fredrin. Just burn the front lane, slow them down, make for your team the opportunities for
Martis deh, paling nggak
better
Martis
attacks,
lah.
and nobody
Jadi,
prioritizes Arlott and Nolan.
Yeah.
And
Martis
that's
atau-
that's actually understandable. That's like we discussed
Ambil tank
earlier.
satu lagi,
It's
guys.
the player who
Baxia
plays
atau
the hero,
Akai.
right? It's not the hero who wins the game. So you can't go
Baxia
for
atau
like
Akai.
just good hero on paper.
Yeah.
If you can
Oke,
play.
kalau
And
menurut gue sih
a
gitu ya.
very smart pickup here coming out from
Ntar itu Burn
Burn
X
X
Flash
Flash. They
sih kalau
found out
mau
the
apa
Tiger
mereka
because it's a
ambil.
hero that also allows the wombo combo, the big combos that we have. Like, imagine like the Tiger
Bruno
with
atau
Nana, the ultimate, the last insanity, and as well as the blazing
juga
to win. It's just a
Matrix.
big AoE coming out from FLUX Esports, and you don't want to have that if you're Burn
Kalau
X
Bruno,
Flash. So, yeah,
apanya-
it's a good ban.
And the
They
front
need it.
laner are easy to catch.
Ruby-nya tapi
Like
ketarik.
Fredrin and Ruby, kind of easy to make
Sementara
implosion on
itu
them.
yang
Like
udah di-ban
yesterday's,
lagi
as you
Nathan
said,
dan Harit
as you
ya.
mentioned, we casted different
Fire
groups,
FLUX
and
nge-ban
there was
Nathan dan Harit.
match Twisted Minds
Burn X
versus
Flash dia nge-ban
I
Tiger
kinda-
Real.
Twisted Minds.
for
Dan
for,
Baxia,
for
kan?
God,
Baxia,
but
kan?
they was winning unexpectedly
nggak ada
winning
yang
all the
menentukan,
all of the
Baxia
game
langsung
against
di ban
Blacklist, I
Baxia
guess.
kan sama
And
Flash. Baxia
then
deh.
implosion, four people
Baxia atau Akai.
implosion, actually like almost 5 people implosion completely changed the game, and the game was finished right there. That was so unfortunate. So I get the Tigreal ban, and it's always the factor, like, you know, Atlas Tigreal, this kind of ultimates can always 180
Change
the game.
Yeah, I agree. So now FLUX Esports are going to be looking for their roamer as well as their
Nathan
junglers.
That's unexpected.
Nathan
ban.
Yeah, so it's a strong hero now. I think that we saw. It's great versus the Claude because the
Thank you
thing
guys
is,
yang baru bergabung guys.
the
Terima
Claude
kasih.
cannot
Thank you,
pick up
thank
the
you
wind of nature
supportnya.
anymore
Udah
because
nonton
the
bareng
Nathan
di
deals
channel
magic
gua.
damage, and then Nathan can
Kita
just pick
ramekan
up the
guys.
wind of nature in your
Kita
fight.
nikmati,
With
enjoy
the
the
Marcus
game.
picked up here, I do feel that Burnix Flash can consider taking Arlet, and then maybe they need a hard carry at the late game that can go up against this Claude. So probably a carry actually, or if they want a one
Carry, it
Kalau
seems
carry.
like they want them to pick carry, but
Arlot,
if
ya,
they go
Arlot
for carry, they
diambil
kind of
oleh
all
Burnix
of
Flash.
melee
Kalau
damage
Martis,
type of
Martis
heroes,
ya,
like, you
ada.
know, short range. So maybe
Martis
this is
jungler
going to be
untuk
big
Fire
if
Flux guys.
we're going to get his
Martis.
slow pretty fast, maybe second item, and it's going to be a problem for Burn.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bruno, that's a good one.
Bruno. Yeah, it's a very
Roamingnya
stable
apa
lane.
ya?
And as expected, it's the
Bukan dari
Arlot.
Fire Flux
Imagine
ya?
there's a lot of crowd control from Ruby,
Oh,
Fredrin, as well as Vexana. You have Unlimited Vengeance now.
Kalau
And
mau
for
ambil
FLUX,
Hilda tapi jarang
might
memakai
consider
Hilda.
something like Rafaela or Diggy actually because of the crowd control
Rafaela,
that's present in
kalau
Burnix
Rafaela
Flash.
ke
But
Maybe Minotaur
if-
actually.
Bruno.
Maybe Minotaur.
Yes.
Bruno
That's
diambil
what I
oleh
wanted
Bang.
to bring up as well because
Like
there needs to be
3
somewhere in the
heroes.
front lines, right?
Ini romernya
But
belum ada nih
Rafaela is
kayak
good
Flux.
as well, just like you mentioned.
Kalau
Maybe
gua
even
pikir sih
Angela as
Romer
well. Like just slow them down, and in this kind of draft, Burn are going to
Uranus
rely
kalau-
heavily on the like Ruby's Ammo Fended plus
Sustainable
Flicker and the Phantom Slash of
Oh,
Arlot plus Flicker,
Minotaur,
initiation
Minotaur.
and fast kill. But hey, there's a
Minotaur.
Minotaur here.
Well done. Well done, War Barbie. It makes a
Agak
lot of
berat sih
sense
kalau
why
gua
they
bilang
picked it up
Minotaur ya.
because it's like you said,
Tapi
the
nggak tahu
crowd
lagi
control
terlihat
and the
guys ya.
front
Tapi
lining
gua bilang sih
for
agak
the team.
berat ya.
And this is
Kekunci
a very
Minotaur. Tidak
comfortable
kekunci sama ini.
composition for a
Karena itu
FLUX.
lamban
It
Minotaur.
really looks like a lineup that
Karena
FLUX
di situ ada
likes
Persana, ada
to
Ruby.
pick up. They want to group up together and just make sure that they take advantage of the AOE.
Tapi
So,
kalau Martisnya
there's really no hero that can take
mainnya
out
bagus,
the
benar-benar
Minotaur from
bisa
the
menang sih
side
FLUX.
of Burnix Flash. But I'm thinking just like
feeling
surely
guys,
they have
prediksi
these,
juga sisi gitu ya.
sustainable or ramp kind of damage, right? They don't have the big bursts. Of
Yeah,
course,
it's like
the Bruno-
grinder versus grinder.
Exactly. Which we know
Thank
that the
you, thank you
Minotaur
yang udah
really
nonton,
likes
guys.
to
Thank
play,
you, thank
right?
you.
So,
Oke guys, kita nikmati
I think,
pertandingan
all
game
things
pertamanya.
considered, I do feel that
Burn
it's,
X Flash versus
it's FLUX that
Fire
has the
Flux
better
Export.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this way
Perwakilan
as
dari
well. The
Kamboja
only thing
versus
Fire
perwakilan dari
Flux need
Turki.
to be careful is to not burn
Dan
get
nikmati guys.
snowball. Because if they do,
Gua belum
Minotaur
main
suddenly
snowball,
gonna
udah
tank
baru-baru tuh ngomong snowball, bro.
zero tankiness. He's going to be zero tankiness, and he's gonna be focused while casting his ultimate. So this is basically the only thing they need to
Ya,
watch
awal-awal
out for.
Minotaurnya guys mulai memberikan
I will agree with you. So now it's Burnix Flash.
psychotherapy,
Very important
gitu.
early game. But we know that they also play a mean late game, right? At least when it comes to just when we're just like
Welcome
talking
guys
about
untuk yang baru nonton,
the
baru bergabung.
overall play style of
Kita
the team.
nikmati,
Like,
enjoy pertandingan ini guys.
I think they are focused around mid game, I think, and the Retribution aggressively goes into the enemy jungle here, stealing from the Red Ring this little Ursa minion, and goes straight away back to his own jungle, Martis.
Gua ngantuk tiba-tiba ya.
and looks like a small X minion going to die as well. And this slightly pressured here the experienced lane, but no gold shell is going to be farmed. Arlott can safely farm his almost level 4, but here the burn team goes into the turtle to help his teammate to get safe level 4.
Mulai menyerang.
And here some exchanges trying to get Firaga Armon out of the X-Planer, not being able to do, and maybe no, last insanity wasn't popped, and the Firaga Armor is down, and that's opened a good opportunity to pressure the turtle here. Almost level 4 though, Minotaur, the Manon Rage, and here the Phantom Slash plus Flicker going to initiate straight on the Nana and probably her passive, forcing to use Flicker and go back. Meanwhile, Fredrin getting the turtle, and the fight continues. The burn is stacked up on the Arlott, I mean the Xbox burn stacked up through damage, and Arlott is dead. And there's an opportunity to farm some gold on the bot lane, or probably Xbox gonna decide to go back and regen his Firaga, and that's exactly what he's doing. But that's a pretty solid start from FLUX Esports here.
2-0 untuk sementara
But
poin
if you look on the gold chart, it's kind of only like 500 gold, so that's not very much, but that's at least something. That's a not bad start from the experience perspective. And the ultimate is not ready on the Minotaur yet. Here's some aggression from the Fredrin on the enemy jungler, which is Mark is going to probably rotate the X-Plane here. On the X-Plane there's some exchanges as well between the laners, but gold lane is probably the one who's being focused here.
Sudah mulai panas
nice
ini guys.
Initiation on the Minotaur here. All of this comes from all of the heroes, and couldn't kill him in time, and he forced to use his Manon Rage just to save the retreat, and that's exactly what he did. And when Burn saw like all of this rotation, Martis and Dinana, they decided just to retreat.
Wow, I am just amazed at the decision making from Apex 47. He waited for the flicker to move forward so that Vexana ultimate will not hit him, so he survives and actually hits 3 heroes. That's why there's a little bit of a spell vamp in there. And then he went out because of the quantum charge.
Mereka nggak maksa untuk
bermain from Apex 47.
war ya.
Really good plays.
Mereka lebih milih untuk
And Burn is Flash overall very good at using Bruno early game potential. That's exactly what you want to do. This is like Popol and Koopa type of heroes who fast pushes the turret, so you kind of want to use all of this potential, and that's exactly going to happen. On top lane is being pushed already, and probably we're gonna see some lane swap right now.
Burnix Flash, even after having 2 deaths, will be leading for now. Oh, I'm your A-team going for Rosa. Rosa, they have the passive.
Rosa dapat guys.
And look at that, I'm your A-team is punished. Rindo eventually takes over this turtle, the objective, but Tienzi is still in here. Who takes it? It's Rindo to take the turtle. But then again, FLUX did not lose any of their heroes.
Yeah, but it was kind of winning the time for the team to take the turtle, prioritize the turtle, and the Bruno rotating from the top lane. Last Insanity used defensively, but in the last second kind of offensively, and the ball from the
Waduh, permainan ini poin kill ini dominasi oleh FLUX. Bisa Rubinya yang mati metong ya.
Martis isn't finished yet, and no, only turret is being pressured.
Probably just push bottom. They don't have many minions anymore. KLVJ wants to survive but cannot do so. Good juggling, in fact, from FLUX Esport. They're playing so well, 5-0 at the start of this game. Even after that, though, I gotta say, Burnix Flash, because of their macro, they are equalizing the gold.
It seems like the fights are going for the FLUX Esport, but the macro game is on the side on Burn X Flash, and the Bruno is so big factor. He have already almost 5k gold, which is like 1,000 more from the enemy gold laner. And now you really want to use it. Like you want to use it. You want to create the tower falls and map control, and I like the mana boot as well on the Bruno actually.
Yeah. But
Tadi
even
mana yang dapat
when it comes to the
turtle
gold,
ya?
when it comes to kills, FLUX Esports have their own advantage. Bottom
Oke,
lane,
ambil lagi
there's a little bit of
objektifnya,
pressure
turret
put out by
bagian
Burning
bawah,
Splash, but with 4
belum bisa
members of
berhasil
FLUX,
ditumbangkan.
there will not be
Masih
any
bisa dilindungi oleh
happenings around.
Express.
Could be a little bit in the
bawah.
mid lane as the Cloud will just go for a double lane setup.
Yeah,
There's the catch.
he need to recover his farm
Yeah.
a lot because and the top lane is being pushed by the Arlet. Minions are already dying under the turret and Claude taking like super safe rotation, but Manon Fury with the flicker gonna focus
Bruno-nya
down
kena
these
makan, guys.
Brunos.
Bruno-nya kena
And
makan ya.
Vexana's ultimate actually hitting 2 people. Mini Lord is
Bruno-nya berhasil
getting
dimakan,
aggroed
guys.
by the Exborg and just
Semakin
retreated.
kehilangan member nih.
Turtle
Buat
fight
Express.
still ensues for FLUX. Amir ATM onto the back lines. No more Minoan Fury, but they did take out Owl.
Oke,
Alien
pertarungan
is
kayaknya nggak bisa
taking out
dihindari
damage.
guys di
Trying to
daerah
slash out,
turtle.
gonna connect onto
Siapa yang
anyone.
akan mendapat
They're actually
turtle
chunking
kedua
down
ini?
this
Oke,
friendly
kembali
low, but
Burst
Frederick still
Express
gets
berhasil
Riddle,
mendapatkan
takes the
turtle guys.
and then runs away to safety.
Retrinya lumayan bagus ya. Lumayan bagus ya junglernya.
Step his ultimate.
Jungler Burst Express.
And meanwhile, Cloud is taking top
Retrinya
turret. That's exactly what
oke, guys.
he wanted to. It's
Dua
like
kali
4
dapat
minions
ya,
on top, double ballista and the tower, and he goes jungle. And he really
Dua
needs
kali
to recover
pertempuran.
his farm while his team is going to
Memperebutkan
kind of stop Bruno for this from
turtle
this snowball, and
dimenangkan oleh
that's
Burst
exactly what is happening
sorry.
here.
Burst Express.
A little bit of an exchange there from both teams. And if we're looking at the gold laners, Sunshine is catching up a little bit, but he still is
Okay.
1,000 gold behind the Bruno.
Game pause
We have a
per
little bit
moment
of a
guys. Game
pause
pause,
for
pause.
now. And I
Apa
do
yang
like I
terjadi?
like what I'm seeing from both teams,
Kita
in
tunggu ya,
fact,
guys,
because
untuk
you're seeing
melanjutkan
FLUX
pertandingannya.
play well when it comes to their initiations, their micro
Resume-nya
gameplay.
apakah udah
But
langsung
when it comes to the
dimainkan?
overall
Oh,
macro, the
masih
objective, the
menunggu
taking
perbaikan
potential,
teknis guys.
definitely gonna be
Bentar, guys, saya
siding
ambil
towards
minum dulu, guys.
Burnix Flash. So that's the difference in playstyle between the two teams that we have right now, or Barbie.
Yeah, and that's kind of unexpected to see because FLUX has the Cloud, which has the upper hand in terms of rotation, like and maneuvering around the map and farming. And he's the one who should like kind of split push, like we saw on the top lane. But he needed to do it kind of a little bit earlier, so he wouldn't have this kind of gold disadvantage from the Bruno. But on the other hand, they have the Exborg, which farmed already
Jangan
like 2
lupa banyak
items,
minum, guys. Jangan
and
lupa banyak
his
minum.
thing now, he like underestimated Burn underestimated Exborg on the bot lane, tried to kill him, and he wanted to like retreat using his incentive, but he's like, wow, I'm actually doing damage. So he's like returned and exploded on 2 people, and eventually they are dead. So Exborg here is going to be a factor because like third item he might go for either immortality of the or the Queen's Wand, but
Kita tunggu ya guys, lanjutkan lagi guys
no,
nanti.
we'll see if he gets this slow earlier, like
Pertandingannya ada kesalahan
it's going
teknis
to be a
sepertinya
problem
di
for Burn.
stage.
Yeah, and you know when we're looking at the particular clashes,
Tapi di luar dugaan sih
it's
gue
very
bilang ya,
micro in
Firefly bisa
intensive. Like
mendominasi
even the
ya.
position they coming out from
sampai sejauh
Minotaur,
ini.
and the
Point
timing
killnya.
is just all so crucial, and that's what you have to watch out for in this matchup.
Berapa
We
tuh
are going to be
poin
returning
killnya?
into the game
Gua rasa belum ada mungkin.
slowly and surely. We're going to find out what are the next steps for both
Iya,
teams.
belum ada.
Seems like the power of this Vexana is that you can poke, but when it comes to
Wes,
it comes
Ruby-nya
TNC.
kembali
Ruby
bisa
takes a one, actually
bisa
rolls us to get the
dimatikan, guys.
last hit. But that means that
That's
they
a lot
will
of
be able to
damage.
cover here. That's a lot of
Kurang
damage.
pengalaman nih kayaknya nih.
Yeah,
pemain
Ruby
nih.
can tank and slowly it seems like
ketarik
gonna
bisa
come
berhasil
down
meloloskan
Kiraga
diri
armor and
Xbox-nya
try
guys.
to actually hit
Tadi
him
ketarik,
after
berhasil
the roll,
meloloskan
but
diri.
he used the flicker to safety.
Yeah. That is immortality, if I'm not mistaken, from Alien 1-0-4. And you have to really look out for these final slashes. So far, Amir ATM has been a little bit 50-50 when it comes to connecting, but when he hits, it's always very impactful.
Welcome yang baru datang, welcome
Yeah,
guys.
and it
welcome,
seems like 1.5 or 2 more minutes, and Burn are gonna have a lot of problems because Nana gonna burst them down. 3 melee heroes can be countered by the Man's Rage and the Exborg. So I don't know, looks kind of bad for me for Burn.
Oke, di daerah rawa-rawa masih jadi pertempuran team fight ya. Siapakah Us?
They're not committing the ultimate just yet. But that is gonna be one out. Your ATM is out. Tienzi wants to go for Rindo. But that means that Burning Splash will just retreat the healing as well as the initiations coming up from Apex 47 becoming on point. Lord Dance still ensues. And FLUX may have controlled this first Lord.
Oke. Lord
The very nice from
dikuasai
Tienzi to not go
oleh
for
FLUX
the
sementara itu.
Rindo here, to trying to finish him off, just like
sayang
we
sekali ya.
discussed the rhythm control.
Carlosnya
Just went for
mati
the
tadi ya.
safe Lord and now attack on Ruby, gonna dodge the I'm offended with the second skill as well, and with the Mortal Coil, and just go for the jungle
Kurang
kill
ini ya,
and
mainnya
set
ya,
up
berekspres
the
ya.
Lord pressure.
Ada beberapa pemain Filipina loh di dalam itu.
Well
tim itu.
done from FLUX Esports. Burnix Flash yet to get a kill. And we did say that there will be a little bit of a problem for
Menurut
Burnix
kalian
Flash to
kenapa
find
nih, guys?
the kills because of the sustain of FLUX. Maybe when Owl is online, that's when they can find their openings. For now, Burnix Flash, all they can do is to defend.
Guys masih mencoba
Yeah, they
tetap
are
mencoba
doing it quite
mempertahankan
well,
turret.
using Vixana's ultimate though on the mid lane, but still
Sementara itu
securing
Lord
the defense. The
berjalan.
Arlot on top is being bursted down by the Martis and the blazing
Lord
duet
udah
of
berjalan
Claude, and the bottom
dari
lane tower as well. Lord is
bawah.
working on the minions,
udah berjalan
trying
dari
to
bawah.
going for. I mean,
Oke,
he
dengan
obviously
mudah
gonna
nih
go
kayaknya
for
bisa. Oh,
the
masih
tier 3
berjalan,
turret
Lordnya
after
masih
that,
berjalan,
but
guys.
will his team follow him?
I'll find out.
Satu
This is a
persatu,
push. The Lord is still available. Owl
turret
is there. In
Burn
comes the hook,
Express
but that's
mulai
Apex
dihancurkan
47.
guys. Tinggal 3 sekarang ya.
Tanky Minotaur. Oh, last
Tinggal
insanity from Alien.
inner turret ya.
Just
Nah, that's
zoning them out.
kind of late, because I mean you should use it a little bit
Yeah,
earlier to
inner
not
turret.
let burn death the Lord and potentially go for the turret. But now you have the second wave of mega minions, but the FLUX actually decided to kind of retreat, even though they have Manon Rage, they have Flicker on the Minotaur. In my opinion, they should try to went for mid and for bot again, but wherever they decided to go safely and farm a little bit, that's understandable. I wouldn't say that's a mistake, because they have such a great advantage in terms of draft here, so they don't need to rush things.
Yeah. Can just relax for now.
Yeah, relax.
But now we're looking at eventually the damage
Thank
out there
you,
from
guys.
Alien. I mean,
Thank you,
Alien has been
thank you.
very active in this map, and we didn't even notice that he's actually well farmed now. He's 7.9k compared to 6.1k of I'm Your ATM. Just like that, you know? And it would look like Alien is just, you know, always getting taken out, or the Firago armor always being bought by Burnix Flash, but because he's always in the fight, he's already up with 3 items,
FLUX
and that's very important
so far
for
masih memimpin
FLUX
ya.
Esports.
Golnya pasti
Yeah, I'm
berbeda
just
jauh.
now thinking for the Vixana pick, it's kind of, I don't know, they not doing much here. It seems like the Lunox maybe wouldn't been better, because they kind of need this front lane damage to be able to compete in terms of this grinder. I'm offended, plus the flicker and the
Oke,
Vixana.
pertarungan guys di daerah junglernya
Counter-attack by the
Burn
Manon on
Express.
range,
Rubynya
and
berhasil
the Martis
didapat.
going rampage
Arlotnya
with his
berhasil
own
didapat.
ultimate, and the last insanity follows two
Oke,
people.
dapat lagi
Ready to end
Brunonya.
all of them, and the
Back
4 people
sananya.
are down, and Fredrin only one
Fredrin
who
apakah
left
wipe out,
standing
wipe
here.
out,
Uses his
wipe
jump under
out.
the turret,
Ah,
but
berhasil
turret's gonna
melarikan
fall
diri
probably by the
Fredrinnya.
back door here, and the mid lane is gonna fall, and it might
Burn
be
Express
GG
kehilangan
here.
4 member ya guys.
It might be GG.
NK,
Burnix
NK
Flash, they don't have any
akankah di
heroes
end
to
dengan
defend
mudah?
this Rosa. Even to
Akankah
miss
di
the
end
figure for
dengan
this
mudah
one,
oleh
they're zoning out Rindo.
Oke,
The
game
defense
pertama
will not be
milik
enough.
FLUX guys.
Wow,
Game pertama
FLUX.
menjadi milik
When you said
FLUX.
that they should,
Thank,
that they are
selamat.
acting more than they're thinking.
FLUX
This
selamat.
time, I think they're
Berarti kita
thinking
tunggu
while
game
they're
kedua.
acting.
Game
They're
kedua akan
just-
seperti
I swear,
apa?
they're so efficient, man.
Pertandingan berjalan dengan
Yeah,
tidak
super
seimbang guys
great.
kayak guys
I
ya.
mean, they won this game in terms of drafting. From my perspective, the only way
Baru
to
gua pikir-pikir,
win the game
Burn
for the
Express,
burn, it's like early
hero-hero gua nggak
pressure,
ada.
more aggression, trying to use that Bruno,
Ada
which they did
Fredrin.
actually on top, but then he get like ganked 2 times, and they couldn't maintain this kind of
Ada
pressure,
Ruby
and
juga ya.
there's the point when FLUX kind of equalized and eventually prevailed.
1-0 ya guys untuk sementara guys ya. 1-0
I mean,
untuk
like,
Fireflux.
it's
1-0
literally
game
one
pertama
team fight that we
dimenangkan
can
oleh
see,
Fireflux
but through the highlights,
dengan cukup
it's
mudah. Ini
always
dia.
Apex
Ini pas
47. I think he is bona fide the MVP for this game. Look at his initiations. Eventually, Rindo was able to take the turtle, but you're gonna see back to back. He is always consistently hitting all of his shots. And also Alien is also on point. Look at that.
Alien.
Apex 47 with utilizing the flicker.
Alien
Solid
benar Alien
point.
guys.
Super great, but that's kind of like, you know, that's a good stuff. All of CC went just in the face of Martis, but they didn't quite manage to kill him, and the counter attack with Metal Rage was so on point, and the last Infinity plus Blazing Duet, just like you mentioned before this game starts, is going to be a big deal, like way too much for the Burn can handle.
Oh, unbelievable. And we can see MVP is TNZ, 6-0-4.
TNZ.
Maybe because he dealt the most
Yang
damage
liatnya.
when it comes to damage spread, but I think that there's so many other good plays that you saw from
Yang
other
liatnya.
players from Fireflux. I mean, I'm not downplaying
Fireflux
what
sebagai
TNZ was able to do, because his
MVP,
aggression
guys.
actually opened up the map so much for Fireflux. But Apex 47 as well as Alien, the way that they're dominating
Alien, I agree on
Burnex
the
Flash,
Alien.
so good. So yeah, I mean, we were so impressed about what this export was able to do in this game.
Yeah, but more like I'm impressed by the draft. It seems like
I agree.
Fireflux knew what Burn want to draft,
Fireflux.
and they kind of
Luar biasa.
in advance drafted the heroes who are going to be super uncomfortable, because 3 melee heroes, which is like Ruby, Fredrin, and Arlot, are actually not that high on mobility. I mean, they have some jumps, they have some mobility, but Exborg solo and Martis can solo counter these 3 heroes because of the Firaga armor and the true damage potential here. They are not that tanky, and the Minotaur on top of that, plus Nana, who can easily burst these kind of heroes as well. I mean, they need a lot of farm to kind of
Alotnya
counter
ngapain?
that. And yeah, so in
Perkuat
terms of
magic
draft,
ini
I
ya,
think
magic
Fireflux
defense-nya ya.
went
Pan
like
cuma Nana doang.
there is a place where they shined the most,
Tim
and
apa?
later it becomes only the matter of
Fireflux.
execution, which they are masters.
Yeah. I do like
Thank you, Bang, yang baru
how
bergabung,
they
Bang. Thank you.
utilize this composition that they have. It's more the
Thank you yang
sustained
baru
side, and the
bergabung.
way that
Rame-rame
they're
kan guys. Nomor
maneuvering
ini di
around the
channel
map
gua.
was just way too good. And there was also a time where they rotated into the gold lane and they successfully dove Owl and was able to take him down. And then they took out KLVJ as well to eventually push the bottom lane. It was very smart because they are also taking some part of the map. However, Burnex Flash, again, I have to give it to them. Their macro in the early stages of the game was actually really good. Like, even when they're losing like 5 of their heroes, they're still taking over the map. They're still winning when it comes to the economy. It's just that in the bigger objectives, like when the Lord timing is there, that is when they suffered, because they fought 5v5 against a team that excels in a 5v5 scenario.
But I think in order to win, Burns should do even more. Like, they should not enjoy with these like small victories. They need to like snowball from the small to the bigger victories, and they kind of like enjoying the small ones. And against this kind of draft wasn't enough, absolutely, because just like I mentioned sometimes, you know, let's say Esmeralda, for example, right? Sometimes it's kind of hero who run around killing everyone and being tanky, and nobody can focus her, yeah? But sometimes it's a type of hero who deals no damage and actually being focused pretty easily. So this is exactly this type of situation for Burnex Flash. They have 3 heroes, who is Ruby, Fredrin, and Arlot. They might be the heroes who is unbeatable and killing everyone, but on the other hand, they might be the heroes who deal in 0 damage and and not that tanky. And you really want to have much more snowball earlier to make these three heroes basically a damage tanks. So not realizing this kind of thing in the moment, I think that's because of the tournament pressure. Actually, $1 million prize here, and some stuff are going out of the site.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to look back at Burn X Flash because I was able to cast their games yesterday. It was up against Onic. They were really strong in the latter portion of the game, like 15 minutes to 18 minutes of the game. They're on point even after 20 minutes. But for the last 3 games that I've seen Burn X Flash play, 1 against FLUX, 2 against Onic, their early game, they're always dominated by their opponents. Onic destroyed them in back-to-back games in the early stages, but they recovered. And in this case, it's also true. FLUX just didn't let go of the pressure, and they overwhelmed the side of Burn X Flash. So I think now we can really say that there are the problem that Burn X Flash is suffering from now is the early game, right? They're not finding the good opening, so they're giving so much to their opponents. Surely they, in this particular game, they eventually found the proper macro, but micro-wise, when you're looking at the individual plays you're seeing from the members of Burn X Flash, it looks really awkward and it looks really inefficient. So that's one thing that they should be improving on.
Yeah, I agree on this one. They kind of didn't understood their like own draft and the enemy draft. So in my eyes, Burn X Flash had this like early to mid game draft. So the spike of power spike, let's say, of their draft is on the like more like early to mid range of the game, while FLUX's draft seems like leaning towards mid to late game. Of course, they have like this Wixana who can like late game maybe do a little bit more, but how do you expect to win this kind of draft in the late game? That is the question, and it goes to like no aggression early, like so. Yeah. They not understanding that they are on the clock because they fighting against clock, because late games they probably gonna lose just because they never gonna kill anyone, and the enemy are having so much better grinder of the front lane basically. So they should understand this, and they like kind of should play all in, and then trying to make like 8-minute lord going into inhibitor turret, something like that. So not understanding it, or maybe like, you know, the situation when they understand it but they kind of like think it's going to be different and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think I do understand what you just said. So, with all things considered here for Burn X Flash, it's more about their understanding, or you know, like troubleshooting along the way. There's nothing you can do anymore about the draft anymore because it's already done. It was already done. You know that the Minotaur was a great pick from the opponents. So what do you do afterwards? You try to solve it. They didn't put more focus on their gold lane. That's why Owl did not or wasn't able to output the damage that was needed in the team fights in the mid game. So imagine if it was different. Imagine if the Bruno had so much more damage out. And I think you mentioned this in the early stages. If the snowball was there from Burn X Flash, the Minotaur cannot do Minotaur things. In fact,
he cannot just
taken out.
Just be there in the front lane. He cannot. And but the funny part is that Bruno actually had the snowball. Like we witnessed him going more than 1k gold on the Claude, having 2 of his main items, which is Husk Claws and the Berserker Rage, and like Burn should like flip the switch at that point, like kind of run with Bruno and try to like gank more using of his damage and potential, but they kind of didn't do that, and eventually FLUX like ganked him like 2 times, killed him on the bot lane, and later in the game, and he's done.
Yeah, I do. I think if we look back at that game, there's so many things that we can really pinpoint, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. So this is some things that we can actually prescribe to Burnix Flash, because I think that game, it didn't look close in during the first Lord onwards, right? Remember when there was a little bit of a pause? Right after the pause, it looked really one-sided already. It was quick afterwards. But before the pause, we saw that it was a little bit close. We're not saying that it was because of the pause that FLUX was able to win. But it's just that it just coincided with that factor. But yeah, what I'm trying to say here is there was a big flip of the switch when we saw the timings out there coming out from FLUX. And this speaks volumes to the in-game knowledge that we can see from FLUX, because it kind of felt like they knew their timings so well. War Barbie, it kind of felt like, okay, we only have to wait for 3 items on the Xborg, 2 items on your Minotaur, and whatever item you have for the Cloud, let's just fight, right? And then they fought, and you see the damage output that they had.
Yeah, the patience was there, and they kind of understood that Burn, they are actually not pressuring us that much, so we can kind of like, that's fine, but we saw that like 5 kills is like a lot from the start of the game. Maybe Burn tried to play more aggressively, eventually doing mistake, which resulted them of being picked. Just like on Xborg, like two people going for the Xborg, trying to kill him, but actually not understanding he gonna lost Insanity and full stacks and explosion, and that's 2 casualties for you.
Yeah. So I think that if Burnix Flash aren't able to answer that kind of understanding from FLUX, this could easily be a 2-0. And I'm saying that not because I want to see a game number 3, but I'm saying that because I know for sure that this is not the Burnix Flash that we know. I know that there's still a lot in the tank for them. And here we go into the draft of game number 2. FLUX now on the blue side. So
oke guys, sekarang kita masuk lagi ke bagian draft pick dan nge-ban.
That's
Satu hero udah di-ban oleh
good
tim
ban to do, but like last game Arlo didn't do much. There was a good Phantom Slash on the bottom lane Turtle, as far as I remember, but otherwise,
untuk yang udah nonton dan bergabung,
that,
thank you, terima kasih banyak guys ya, terima kasih. Kalau bisa jangan lupa untuk subscribe channel gua guys. Itu dukungan yang sangat
it's
gua
going to be Matilda, because we know FLUX Esports like those
apresiasi
kind of
banget.
sustain
Thank
heroes.
you.
And this is interesting because FLUX now bans out the Navaria, even when it was Burnix Flash that banned the Navaria in first game. But if you recall, KelVJ actually plays really good.
Navaria dan Matilda juga udah di-ban.
So they're really respecting what KelVJ is able to do.
And that's absolutely understandable, but yeah, I mean, when they pick Vixana last game, you kind of wanted them go for Vixana again, I guess, because it's like, I don't know, we rarely see Vixana carrying the game, right? So
yeah,
I mean, at least maybe it's just me, but I think Vixana is the type of hero, if you pick, you kind of want to have more damage maybe from the roamer or from the jungler. It's not that big of damage probably, but to be honest, last game there was what target, like you cannot target Xborg properly with Vixana. It's kind of burst, but what you burst, you burst Firaga and he just roll out and that's it, and you wasted all your skills. You trying to burst Minotaur, but can actually dodge it with his own ultimate and even counter attack. So Vixana was kind of not favored in that game.
Yeah. So in this matchup that we're seeing, it's gonna be the Guinevere from FLUX. Remember last time, like the Nolan, they didn't even think about like picking that up, but it's the Joy. Ruby's open. We know for sure that it's not the most successful hero, but so is Barrett's, which I believe was also banned out in the previous game, very early on. So, but FLUX might go for the Valentina maybe, because I can't remember if it was banned. It wasn't banned actually. So what do you feel? Maybe Nana here for
Yeah,
FLUX?
Nana's absolutely good here, but Ruby is good as well. There's a lot of heroes to pick. We have a lot of heroes like Nolan. Nobody prioritizes Nolan, but I guess you should understand how to play with Nolan. These times teams are prioritizing more of like farm tanky heroes, aggressive early like Martis, and doing great actually, taking MVP last game. So why wouldn't you go again for it, right?
Yeah, don't fix what's not broken. But it's Barrett's and the Vexana as well from Birdie's Flash. What do you answer now for FLUX? You need a little bit of constant damage. I think that they might go for Claude Nana again, right, for FLUX.
Claude Nana, yeah, Claude was working super good. Not in terms of early game though, but being pressured by the Bruno. Yeah, Nana, just like you called, and the Claude. I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
You just go for it. You already taken Ruby, who gonna probably play Rome and gonna help kind of this early aggression if the Burn wanna go for it, and the X-Work as well. I mean. Yeah, don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly. It worked so much. It worked so well in the previous game. I think Alien is catching his drift already, catching his rhythm with this particular hero. Because I say that because what I noticed was he knew exactly the limits of his hero, right? So there wasn't any feeding that you saw coming up from Alien in the game. Although sometimes it was scary because his Firaga was popped, but it looked really consist for FLUX Esports. Now there is the claw that was snatched by Burnex Flash, so that's very much understandable. I wonder if there is. I think that if you're Burnex Flash, you definitely have to buy the Minotaur now.
This is
right.
But you know what they are going? They using last pick as a ban, basically taking Claude, and now they're gonna close even more of marksmen here. I'm not quite sure it's a good strategy because I feel like Sunshine have a lot of wide variety of heroes. We spoke about Nolan. Nathan here, all being picked on the gold lane as well. So I don't think, and he got banned as well. But there's Bruno. There's a lot of stuff he can take.
So there is a chance that for the Minotaur. Maybe Burnex Flash steals it because they're the first pick in the second phase. That could be a potential, but I believe that FLUX, if they get their hands on that hero, it counters the Claude. It's great with the Nana and the X-Work, as you saw from the previous game. But then because of the fact that the Ruby was already picked up, maybe FLUX are considering, okay, this is already a Rome Ruby, and then there's already the X-Work, so yeah, maybe the Minotaur will not be the choice anymore. Nevertheless, Burnex Flash can still have that as their choice of roamer to go up against this X-Borg as well as this Nana. So that's good. And there's also heal that you can sustain so that you can walk up the bushes and not be that afraid of the Nana. Another hero that is played against Nana Ruby is the Grok. So that could also be, but it's the Rafaela for Burnex Flash. You know, makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah. Now, if FLUX go for Minotaur, is suddenly not that effective because everybody can kite him. I mean, kinda kite him, and that's a good factor. And now FLUX got to answer with some type of constant damage output to the front lane. But now it's going to be hard. Bruno might not work here. Maybe something, maybe even Leslie, something like Leslie I'm thinking about. Maybe they might go,
not?
or like maybe Brody, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Paquito Ban is interesting perhaps as well. Harvith, might be.
Might be. But I do like the Leslie that you brought up because it deals so much damage. And it's out of range of the Vexana, but they just go back to
for it.
Bruno,
And
standard. I mean, understandable. Don't try to go for difficult heroes. Just go for standard plays, and maybe you can just outplay your opponent after that. Burn X Flash. You're gonna be looking for their XP laner against the Bruno. Maybe Yu Zhong. That's
Zhong?
the only hero
No,
that I
it's
can
not
think of.
that good. I mean, Alien is the good player on the X-Borg, and if Exborg is good. I think Yuzhong cannot prevail on the lane unless Exborg makes mistakes only in this.
Oke guys ya, 10 hero udah
This
dipilih
one
guys
is
ya.
interesting, Fovius. A
10
lot of
hero udah
jumps
dipilih
here,
oleh
but
kedua buah tim.
I mean, he's not
Kita
that good.
saksikan
He
game
used
kedua.
to be not dealing
Games
that
of the future
high
Mobile
damage with
Legends
his
Bang Bang.
ultimate, but we'll see. I like the pick.
Siapakah yang akan menangkan game kedua guys?
Interesting as well.
Kita
And
tunggu kita
Baras
saksikan sama-sama
can
guys.
actually counter Nolan quite badly if he hits
Nolan dilepas ya. Phoveus juga dilepas.
So the idea for the Phoveus obviously is to counter the Nolan, which we know is a direct counter because the dashes and you always have access to the Nolan. So obviously that's a good thing, but we'll see if this will be successful. Like I said, Phoveus is not as strong as it used to be, but in I would say the right conditions, yeah, sure, maybe this could be an opening for them.
Yeah, and we're going to game number 2. Potential match point here for FLUX. And game starts from the mid lane. As usual, Ruby is a roamer. I mean, that's kind of to be expected. Being slightly pressured on the mid lane by the Rafael and Vixana, rotating towards X-Plane yet again.
You can see that Export going up against Phoveus. I mean, the Phoveus will have a good time in the clashes, but against Export, I think I'm gonna give it to the Export. You have the Brave Smite, you have a lot of staying power in that lane. Phoveus can do anything to you as the Export, so I think this is still a very good lane for Alien.
Yeah. I think Phoveus not gonna like lose it, but he's not gonna win it. He's gonna kind of.
Right.
I guess lose it on the tempo. Oh, it was the ultimate probably used right away and tried to pick up the Ruby here for potential pressure, but not gonna happen.
Great understanding coming out from Apex 47. As you saw, he immediately flickered because he knew that Rindo can just pop the ultimate, and he survives that. Nolan is having a decent time farming.
Oh, he's now going. He might lose his stacks now. If just Apex just went a little bit back and but no.
But no, indeed.
Thank you guys.
However, this is Rafaela Barat, very strong when it comes to neutral objectives. The staying power of Birdix Flash is actually really high right now, so that's definitely the advantage they have. But Alien, look at him behind enemy lines, pops the ultimate, not even waiting for the stacks. And that means that TNZ will secure the turtle. That's just a zoning last insanity. They want to go for TNZ this time. I'm your ATM. Not much mana, gets out. And the FLUX snatches the turtle.
Thank you yang baru bergabung.
Nice, very good played. I would like to see the replay of that because it seemed like they popped almost all Firaga during last Insanity and kind of stopped and just ran away, which is the mistake. So, but it might be they don't have absolutely no resources to proc it, but you really want to like proc it during the middle. Meanwhile, Rafael gets wildly picked on the picked on the top lane.
Wow, that was quick that we saw from FLUX Esports, now leading again in the early stages of the game. Burnix Flash, like I said, their draft is winnable, I would say, but it's gonna be tricky. Rindo wants to go for the top lane, but obviously no follow-up, so he just wants to take this Scaled Lizard. But Apex 47 is stopping him from doing so.
Yeah, Baraz is playing so aggressive, but actually on the gold chart, they 1k gold. Have 1k gold deficit already, and there's 30 seconds for the turtle, but the top lane probably is going to get pressured by the burn, and that's exactly what they should do to maximize the Barat's potential here, because late game Barat's not gonna do that much that he can do now.
Yeah. The FLUX Esports is holding on to this small lead, but very substantial in the early stages. TNZ looks at the purple buff and actually spots out where Burnix Flash is. Might just go for his own purple. which means that the turtle for the second turtle will be great for Burnix Flash. FLUX are just gonna forgo this.
Balik turtle.
Unless, okay, so TNZ with the Heptasis, they want to fight this. They still want to fight. Vexana with the ultimate. There's a Ruby ultimate as well. TNZ reaches and takes the turtle. They get a kill as well onto Rindo. Apex the Phobius. Demonic Force activated, but no damage for now. Apex 47 actually attracts. I'm your ATM. And I'm your ATM didn't have enough mana to continuously pop the ultimate. And that means that FLUX Esports again wins the neutral objective.
Yeah, yet again, but like Burnix Flash kinda didn't realize. Nice pick up on Rafaela yet again on a red buff of the enemy. Burnix Flash kinda didn't realize that Nolan is on the purple buff and he's farming his purple buff and he's not on the turtle, so they kinda should rush this turtle and and they was taking it slowly, which required which opened the window for Alien to come here and spin his ultimate, and Nolan is there, so yeah, I don't know, they take it slowly, but
thank you. Jangan lupa untuk subscribe, thank you.
A lot of gold advantage now for FLUX in the early stages, and I wish I knew the answer to that question is, should they be playing this in a different pace? But unfortunately, Burnix Flash will have to suffer this. Okay, they want to go for I'm your ATM, commits the flicker for now. The turtle coming up soon, that's 20 seconds. Rindo finds TNZ. And that is actually retribution coming out from Rindo. And all of a sudden, the Owl is here. They want to push. It's not going to be enough for now, though.
Okay,
seru
ini guys.
Wah, Ruby-nya but eventually goes down.
Ruby-nya berhasil dihilangkan.
At the expense of Burnix Flash.
Yeah, this finally turtle might come for burn here, third turtle, but I'm kind of surprised. Last Insanity was used just to run away, but still decided, just like last game, went aggressively on, exploding on 3 people, but resulting almost nothing. Nolan goes in just to finish off Rafaela yet again, low HP, Barat's 1k HP going into the base, using his retribution just to slow down, and good dragging Nana into the turret range, which forced both passive and the flicker, which is good from one side, but meanwhile turtle being farmed as well.
Like you see
Satu persatu tower Express berhasil diruntuhkan, guys.
Look at that snag kill. VJ not even able to use the skill. That's Insanity onto the left side, while Demonic Force onto the right side. That's gonna be FLUX Esports claiming 1 kill onto KLVJ, as well as the turtle. So, well, there's a bonus kill, no flicker for ATM.
Snowball seemed like he's snowballed out of control. TNZ using Nolan is insanely aggressive, and the welcome here on the Ruby, followed by the Rafaela's baptism, but not resulted anything. Claude damage is just enough. Sorry, Ruby's counter-attack.
That's Insanity used. That burst coming up from TNZ. They will be able to catch Alien. No, the flicker to the left side. And that means that FLUX will get away with murder. Rindo out. They take the turret as well. And they're staying in here. Asteros Eye just fending off FLUX. But that is a lot of advantage that FLUX Esports are able to get.
Yeah, the FLUX is doing like showing the burn, like how they should treat the objective on the last game. Like they should go much more aggressively, and that's exactly what FLUX is doing. They just jump with Last Insanity right under turret just to zone out the enemies and let your team farm the objective. That's exactly what you should do. I just had a question on the mid lane. Why Vexana used her ultimate just trying to push the mid lane? This is like, I'm not sure you should do that in this kind of matchups when you have a lot of enemies around you. You kind of want to use it for more like damage on the enemies and trying to win it instead of just summoning point 5 version of the Lord.
Oh, look at that. They want to go in. They're actually forcing Burnix Flash to retreat, but it goes to Torres. But that's just a bait. They will take out Rindo as well as Rafaela. Now Apex 47 will try and run away. That's just the Ruby. And look at the defense. Letting do it. It's going to be popped. Apex 47 down. Sunshine is low. But it's safe for now.
Oh,
Owl
yeah.
now compromised to the
Oh,
backlines. They might go to the next
oh,
insanity round two.
yay.
The burst is there. Kill VJ, the only one
The
left,
trap.
but not for long. That's a wipeout. FLUX
Yeah.
wipes the floor with Brandon's flashes.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you are in this position as a Barats, when you ult, you become a stationary target and you get immediately bursted down, you know you're in a bad spot. Like, you ult into the Ruby under the second turret and being just obliterated by Nolan and the rest of the, like, splash AoE damage, that's a bad thing. Now you can't even ult properly with the Barats.
Whew. Scary, scary stuff that we're seeing from FLUX Esports. They're so decisive. And they got the Lord just like that, even under the turret of Burnix Flash. They knew that they have immense amount of gold over Burnix Flash, and that's why they had the green light to actually go for that. And because Alien's ultimate is very low cooldown, look at him just destroy Burnix Flash, take them down. Now manning the front lines. Holy defense activated up top. While into the mid lane, they took the turret already. And this is a Lord.
Going under third turret, working on last insanity proc, just like last time, just to zone out the enemy is absolutely the right thing to do in order to have more pressure on the objective. Bottom lane already fallen, which means Mega Minions going to go for the bot lane. Top lane being pressured as well, but not that much as a bot lane. And seems like FLUX gonna retreat and enjoy just enemy buffs here.
Be satisfied with that. Gonna be taking the inhibitor down the bottom lane. So this is such a massive lead already that FLUX has. Gonna be looking at the items for now. 9.9k compared to 5k. That's the jungler difference is a sum total of 2 items.
Oh,
that's how
yeah. How
massive
do
the
you
lead
tank
is.
that?
Seems impossible. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to wait for
No
18
wind.
minutes.
No wind of nature on Claude as well, and might be bursted down, to say the least, by just one touch of Nolan and Bruno.
Yeah. High potential for that to happen. They're just waiting for now. They have nothing else to do. They're recalling when they're not seen, by the way.
I mean,
so only
they
the viewers can see that.
they have things to do. It means they are already thinks they won the game, and they should claim the top jungle here to not let enemy go out and farm even something. But they decided to like go back, but I don't think they're gonna be punished for that. But still,
Yeah,
there's always stuff to do on the land of Dawn.
Yeah. That's right. And that stuff might be the purple buff that look at that if you're looking at FLUX Esports, that might be their target. You're seeing them set up this bush. And then Rindo just can't even look at that purple buff for now. Oh, he's gonna step in. This is crucial. But then FLUX says, okay, we don't need that purple buff anymore. Let's just go for the Lord. Look at how quickly they're taking it as well.
Yeah.
So
Nolan
fast.
is just spamming every bit of damage he has. Nolan, I mean, Lord gonna spawn in 20 seconds. That's Nolan probably gonna farm the jungle here and prepare themselves for final attack here. Going for double minion, then go for purple and probably on the top lane where FLUX already waiting here.
Slowly. A slow, steady push from FLUX. Scary. It's very, very scary. Up top, they're pushing the lane. Bottom lane, there is the Lord that was on his lonesome. Good so-called teamwork. And Astro side, there's a lot of displacement from Burnix Flash. Fat minion of waves up top, as well as the bottom. And this is gonna be a crucial push. Rindo doesn't have the proper amount of stacks for now. They're gonna take out the Vexana ultimate like a boss, as easily as that, and they are able to push the turret up top.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the bot lane, Lord is already on the base being farmed by the Claude here, and all of minions are farmed. Mid lane minions coming into mid lane, and Bruno already started working. Baras here trying to use his second skill on the Bruno, but not gonna happen. All inhibitor turrets fallen. I'm offended. Plus flicker initiation. Plus insanity on the Fovius here. Fovius dies already. Not even able to use his own ultimate. Minions found and being farmed. It's a crystal game. Gonna be 3 hit on Vixana by Bruno already fallen, and the Ballista low HP is still available for FLUX to push the crystal, and the 4 people dead, and it's gonna be the game number 2.
That is FLUX Esports with 2 back-to-back dominating games to sweep Burn X Flash in a snap, in a flash. They're all gone, and FLUX are they just came out to play War Barbie. They just showed us how dominant they can be in the Land of Dawn.
Yeah, they truly are. They deserve this victory because they just showed the class here, and they just better players in this game. I mean, this best of 3.
Yeah. Game 1 was definitely also a draft issue, an early game issue for the side of Burn X Flash. But this game number 2, it was quite tricky because it's definitely winnable on their side, but it's just that a lot of disasters happened after one another, and then they couldn't recover afterwards. We could see through the highlights what happened. The first turtle of the game is very important, as in the second as well, as TNZ secures that. Even when he had to go to the purple buff, he was just in time for that play. Then you can see Rindo committing the ultimate, and then connecting with a kill onto just Apex 47, but they weren't able to push the turret afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like a small frustration action here for Burn X Flash, because it seems like they are not fully committing into their like using their skills into the enemy. They kind of like holding half of the skills, and that's where the damage is not being able to connect on the enemy. And the Claude here is not like doing what the Claude should do, like over farm and just carry the game. Seems like Nolan the one who's carrying the game with just his damage and the snowball items.
Looking real dominant for FLUX Esports, and this is the quarterfinals. You can see that they knew the limits of their hero. They know that they have so much farm over Burn X Flash that they can actually making that play. Like TNZ forcing the Wind of Nature afterwards. What is Owl to do? He can't even like position himself there. And even the Rafaela, Miko, they just really dove that because they have immortality, they have the passives, they have all of the resources that they need for the dive to be aggressive, and indeed they secured the game, the series in fact, with a very dominant showing.
Yeah, and it was relatively easy in my opinion, and now Export gets his MVP finally, 32% damage, which is insane, and the and the later on top of that, just for like extra region, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my, that's there's just a lot of dominance coming out from Alien. I think this is something that you have to really take note of now, and really guard yourself against FLUX Esports, because Alien, my oh my, is really good playing in this X-Borg. You can see he didn't die again, right? So he's well calculated, especially the first turtle fight where we know that the Barretts has a lot of staying power. What he did was to zone them out with the last insanity and allow TNZ to secure that turtle. Then so many times in this game, the positioning was way easier for FLUX because there's that X-Borg that zones out the enemy. And even when they picked up the Fovius, right? Of course, it makes a lot of sense going up against the Nolan. But if you think about it, in the laning stage, I'm your ATM, can't do anything. Because that's the X-Borg. You can't survive the X-Borg in the laning stage.
Yeah, it's a questionable draft for Burn X Flash. Seems like a lot of heroes were like not working for them, and I don't think, don't get me wrong, I don't think Burn like can't play these heroes. I think they just not prepared mentally for this best of 3, because it seemed like both of the game Vixana was more of like on the useless side, and let's put it this way. And Rafaela kind of was like no one to help here, just roaming around, being picked by Nolan every time, and like Claude is doing not another. It's like this. I think is a mental aspect of the preparation, which gone wrong for the Burn Flash.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you. And even when they have experienced players, Owl and Rindo already have experienced international tournaments. Even Miko and KLVJ, they themselves have proven that they are the veterans. Even KLVJ is a champion, an MSC champion, right? So there's a lot of experience already, but it seems like as a team, they just couldn't find the good opening. So unfortunately, they couldn't recover afterwards. That has been our first series, War Barbie, and it will go in favor of FLUX very, very quickly. For now, I think we have a video prepared for our viewers, War Barbie. Before we head into series number 2, which I know that you're all excited about, why don't we watch this video?
In a world that seeks a balance between metaverses and healthy lifestyle, video games and traditional sport, live shows and web entertainment, we found the only way to harmony. Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phygital, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds. This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phygital competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phygital experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of Phygital sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top Phygital tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting Phygital era. So stay tuned, join our global Phygital community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
And we are back in action. This is going to be the 4th series of the day. We've just witnessed FLUX win in a very, very dominant fashion up against Burnix Flash. It was a 2-0. Both were one-sided. And now we're going to be moving on to our next series. It's Team Flash going up against Royal Cyber Sports Club. You know, War Barbie, I've casted a lot of Team Flash, and I can say a lot of stuff about them, but I want to ask you about Royal Cyber Sports, or RCC. What do they look like? What is their? What do you think is their?
I can say about RCC a lot as well. So they are very strong, very experienced players, veterans of this game, and I played alongside like half of them and coached like second half of them, which is kind of hilarious. But I can tell that they switched this mid laner for Troublemaker and the X-Planer, which is Castle, who are super strong players, especially Castle. He's playing super aggressively on the X-Plane, and Troublemaker always uses like all of the opportunities he's get on the mid lane to make kills. Have pretty unorthodox pool, I would say. Like Gushin on mid lane can appear, like Khalid on the X-Plane, like ganking all the map, can appear as well. So I like the play style of these two heroes. I mean, players. One Shot is super versatile player who can play jungle on absolutely any run, super talented. Gold laner Weiser is, I would say, on the like downside of the team, has not that big of a pool and kinda like not understanding the flow of the game, but still if team wins, he gonna help the team win, but he's probably like most likely not gonna carry the game. And the Kupi is a good strategic player who can understand the game good, but the execution might not be on the point. So that's my review of the team for you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. That's a very, very detailed description of the team, and I'm sure that all of the viewers out there watching are now more familiar with the RCC. Now, apart from the players, of course, we have to also talk about the actual strength of the power level of this team. When they went up against Nightmare Esports, it was also like back-to-back one-sided games. They look really strong. They're just like destroying every part of the lane, every part of the laning stage up until the mid-game, and that's where they ended. But now when they went up against a team like Blacklist International, they were stopped in game number 1. But game number 2, that is when we saw the strength of this team, right? So, it lasted 20 minutes. Although they lost against Blacklist, it was a very close match and they could have won it. So, what do you think are the... because when I asked you about Burnix Flash as well as FLUX, you were able to identify that they're in the middle, right? So I wonder if you have a rating for that for RCC. Where do you place them in the rankings that we have for the playoffs?
Yeah, I would say they are in a solid middle with the potential to go for like upper side of middle ranked like player, because I mean, considering there is let's say low, mid, and high, only 3 of them, so upper mid is actually good.
That's true. That's it's actually very true. So now they're gonna be facing up against a team that's I would say they're not their experience is also like in the middle, right? So the members of Team Flash have always participated in international tournaments, and this is mainly because of the region that they're playing. If you're looking at Team Flash, they were from Singapore, so there are no names like JPL is there, Diablo, and then Vanix, actually one of their newer players, but Diablo as well as JPL, they have been playing international scene for a long time now. You can even trace it back to the first season or the first iteration of the M1 World Championship, where most of these players have already represented their region. So what I'm trying to say here is they have the experience in international tournaments and they can perform. However, the main reason why they are able to get into the international scene is because of the fact that they came from the MPLSG region, right? So when you look now at their performance as a team, it now looks very interesting because they have Hades and now they have Curtizi, both players that have international caliber. But when you group them up together, it seemed like they aren't that coordinated. That's why when they faced up against Onic, they couldn't even do anything in the early stages. Onic just literally destroyed it. They had to survive KBG just to get in the spot. So those are that's my idea of how Team Flash is gonna play in this game. That's what I can think of when they are going up against RCC. So now the question, War Barbie, is how tight will this matchup be, and who do you think is more favored in this matchup?
Oh, I think RCC are the slight favorite in this matchup, just because of confidence coming from the 3 of the 5 players and the strategic aspect which might occur from the captain of the team. And yeah, I think it's going to be enough to win the game, but if Flash aggressively win the mid lane, they are going to be favorites. So I'm not quite sure what to expect from the team. but if they go into like control the mid lane a lot and slightly pressure jungle and not lose the signed lanes, so I think they're gonna prevail on RCC. It just my call goes because I not quite have a lot of information how they're gonna play the game.
Okay, and then that's good for the region. In fact, for the region that they came from, and obviously, they're the home crowd favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, will we consider them the home crowd favorites now?
RCC?
Yeah, RCC.
No, I think Deus Vult was the home
Vult.
crowd favorite, but you never know. So
know,
the
we never
preparation
know.
again, we saw like Deus Vult lost Homebois, and it seems like Homebois prepared well. I would say prepared respectfully for the Deus Vult, which we couldn't saw from the Deus Vult. Not really, like seemed like underestimated the Homebois. So if Flash not gonna underestimate RCC and they actually like review a lot of matches and think about like draft ban and the how you should approach game and in the right way, like like in a wrong way, I mean you can like do like okay, let's draft this thing and just wait for the late game. This is not how you draft. Like so if they're not doing this kind of mistakes, I mean they might prevail.
Yeah. And if we look back at Team Flash, right? We already talked about both JPL and Diablo. I want to also bring up like Hades as well as Cortese, because now I know a lot about these players, and I've actually had a chance to talk to and handle and actually train Hades. I've worked with him before, and he's one of those players that has not been really the favorites when it comes the actual favorite when it comes to like the jungle choice in the Philippines, just because of the fact that there are so many good junglers in the Philippines. But when he went to Indonesia and now when he went to Singapore, he's actually one of the better junglers out there. Now I think he shown when he became an import from other regions, because now he has shown that he can play utility junglers as well as assassin junglers, right? So there's a lot of flexibility for Hades, and I'm excited to see how they perform. But most importantly, Cortese. This guy is a very experienced player, and if you don't know, Cortese is actually part of the team that eventually got into the M2 World Championship. He was part actually of the M2 World Championship representation of Omega. So Cortese is a veteran, and he's really, really good at playing, and he transferred from the EXP lane to now the mid lane, and he really can perform for the team, and he really shines in many important moments.
I wanted to bring the thing you said about being good at assassins and also being good on the utility type of junglers. I think this is a mistake we can see a lot of times when player is like extremely good on assassins, like he's like his micro skills like top notch, and and suddenly his team like decide for him to play some like utility type of hero. So I'm not sure it's a good idea if you have such a good player. Like imagine like Lancelot just carrying the game, or like just carrying the game to just help your team carry the game. And so I hope we're not gonna see this kind of exchange in the draft, and we'll see the full potential of the assassins. I would love to see that.
I share the same sentiment, man. I do want to see more assassins played by the junglers. I just love seeing that kind of dynamic where they're trying to really out-rotate their opponents and then burst down, the squishy supports. However, it's just how the meta game works now. If you are a jungler, you have to be prepared to play both assassins as well as utility jungler. You just cannot compromise anymore, because depending on the situation, a utility jungler will be much better, and depending on the situation as well, an assassin jungler might be the better choice. So I think that overall, no, for the jungler, as much as I would love to see more assassins played in the jungle role, War Barbie, you gotta have to really consider studying how to play the utility junglers. It's just how it is
sure.
now.
If I mean, and Ruby and Arlott type of heroes, if there's this kind of heroes in the enemy team, I absolutely understand the not willing to go for the jungle assassin. But yeah, I was thinking about at least me, I saw this kind of sometimes like they go with these barats like for like no particular reason for go to barats, and just because meta dictates like we go in barats, and yeah, I was thinking about this kind of drafts.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the drafts eventually. I don't know when we should start the draft. I think it's gonna be coming pretty soon. I do want to talk about some of the other heroes that needs considering. I think that Ruby. Well, wow, that's I think that we're on point actually, War Barbie. But anyways, we already know how strong the Ruby can be from this previous series, and maybe that is also a priority for both these teams. And this is RCC. That's One Shot. That's Castle. That's Troublemaker. That's Wiser, and that's Goopy. What can we say about this team, man? What else can we say about the team? I mean,
it's a strong team. Mostly decided now the draft gonna decide a big part of it, but yeah, I think they have a lot of potential to prevail in this matchup. But yeah, let's mention this topic after the draft, probably.
Yeah, for sure. We are seeing Team Flash. That's Vanix, JPL. You have the two Filipinos, Curtizi and Hades, and of course one of the Singaporean veterans, Diablo. Always been part of this of the MPL Singapore scene, and always have been representing the region so well. So you gotta have to be excited about that team. Now, when we look at the composition that we are seeing from Team Flash, one thing that I want to note is that Diablo is not your typical kind of explainer that will just settle for those standard pickups like your sustain heroes. In fact, Diablo has been known since MSC of 2023 that he is an explainer that's willing to go for specialty kind of picks, like your Badang actually played in the explainer. Plays well.
I love
He's
that.
actually, you do love that. And then of course the Kali that now is a situational pick, but before it was a very niche pick that almost always just is on the hands of Diablo. But yeah, that's what you can expect.
Super aggressive early. He used to be like
That's
now
right.
he's not that aggressive, but still can be quite aggressive.
Yeah.
But earlier, like 3 spins and like no HP level 1, yeah, why wouldn't you use that, right? And yeah, I like that. I hope we are going to see one of these 3 heroes like Badang, Khalid, Terisla, because I like when people play good with these 3 guys.
Yeah. So, do I expect some weird pickups now in this particular matchup? I wonder though, is RCC a team that's also like very experimental when it comes to their draft? Would we see some random pickups in the upcoming series, do you think?
Yeah, we saw one already. We saw Tisla roam actually, and went really good. I mean, to be honest, I think against that kind of like enemies didn't understood what to do with this kind of pressure, and this was one of the reasons why Trisla works so well as a roamer. So it might be not that effective against the team who understands better what to do with this kind of early game aggression. Yeah, that's being said, but still Terizla was a good roamer in the game. So yeah, we might see pretty good pickups because we already saw on a different tournament, I believe on M5 wild card, the Troublemaker was actually playing and they went for like mid lane Gushin with Petrify and jungle Lapu Lapu, for example. So yeah, Hellcard was an opportunity for them as well. I knew they could pick that. I'm not quite sure they're gonna do this in this game, but there are chances, if you ask.
Yeah, which makes me very excited about this matchup because maybe this is the time where we really cannot expect some of our some of the heroes and the pickups. Like if I remember correctly, well, I do remember it when Burnix Flash was facing up against Onic, they picked up the Barats early on. It wasn't a jungle Barats. It wasn't an EXP lane Barats. It's a mid lane Barats that KRTZ picked. It lost, however. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Well, it was a high caliber team like Onic. But my point is, there could be exciting heroes that will be picked up that's out of the meta. But there can also be heroes that are in the meta but played in a different manner, like the mid lane Barrett. So this is a really exciting draft that we can expect from the two teams.
Yeah, I hope they're gonna go for it. And yeah, Lapu Lapu was a mid laner as well. So RCC are actually like, it shows on this tournament already that they love to do these draft tricks when you, which you mentioned earlier, like when you pick kind of hero who can go either on X plane, on jungle, or even on roam maybe, and this type of stuff. And yeah, but I was mentioning this kind of thing that it's not as effective as it seems like, because I mean you can fool your opponent into the draft. You make them believe you already drafted like jungle, for example, and they start banning the explainers, and then suddenly you pick the like jungler because you already pick explain. But yeah, that's good and fun and stuff, but it all goes to execution and tempo and how efficient you with your time. So you can do that, yeah, but it not necessarily like gives you upper hand in the game.
I do agree with that. It's like not because you are experimental, not because you're creative, it means that you're already winning, right? It's not it doesn't work that way. And that's also the case in point when Burnix Flash went up against Onic. The team that they're definitely the team to beat. Like they're the runners up of the recent M5 World Championship, and although you're tempted to try out heroes and hero compositions that are creative, or at least more in the creative side, and try to outplay your opponents with that kind of a mentality, it does not instantly work, as was proven by their opponents. So although we'd like to see some weird pickup, it's not an automatic win. All right. So, now that we're talking about heroes, we already talked about like the outrageous pickups, but what else? What can we expect from RCC? What's their go-to kind of composition? How do they usually approach the draft?
I think they more on like patient side on the mid lane. This is, I think they are missing this kind of aggression on the mid lane, but they went for Kaja already, which is like, I don't know, it was so like questionable game, because like when enemy doing like big mistakes, it's pretty easy to initiate on them, right? If somebody just casually run around, you just flick in and hook him, Divine Judgment, and there's a kill. But what if like enemy play actually better like against this type of hero? So this is the open question still, because enemy team in that particular game was making a lot of mistakes which open windows for initiation. But what if the more experienced team is going to like zone out and outdraft them? So I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do, but in terms of aggression, they might go, I think their goal is going to be for either super aggressive roamer or like the support type of roamer.
Okay.
This is a mage is just gonna feel.
Yeah, I think now the converse. When I look at the games of Team Flash, and then when I look at specifically the player Curtizy, they find success around Curtizy if Curtizy plays poke heroes or those heroes that are kind of stationary, just sits in the back lines, you know. Obviously, Curtizy can play the aggressive mages, but I think when it comes to like what is the more reliable kind of playstyle for Team Flash, you have your mid lane onto the back lines, just going for poke, going for those nuke type of damages that has a lot of distance, and he really outplays his opponents like that. That's where they become successful. So I would assume that it will be a little bit slower as well for Team Flash. You know, they're gonna just take it patiently this time. They're not a very explosive team. Even when they're called Team Flash, the way that they're playing right now is a little bit slower compared to other teams. So maybe that's what we can expect from Team Flash.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, opens up the window for RCC to kind of draft more aggressively and maybe go into their jungle earlier and gain some advantage at that department. We'll see what team is ready for this, because if you're RCC, you're watching the matches and they like, okay, they're doing like this slow draft, so let's just go aggressive. But on the Flash side, they might watch RCC games and like, okay, they want to go aggressive like early, we shouldn't go. So it's more like mental games.
Yeah, it's always like that. Now I can't wait to see the draft actually, because I'm excited to see how they will approach this. I will be quite disappointed if it will be like just a standard game where you pick up Vixana versus Nana or Valentina versus Novaria. Then you're gonna see like perhaps like your typical Yuzhong Lapu-Lapu DXP lane, a Barretts versus Fredrin, which is, by the way, very highly likely in this particular matchup because it's an elimination game anyways. But that is how we that's just how this dynamic between two teams might happen.
Yeah, interesting. Can't wait to see especially Badang on the lane going like full damage build, focusing mages and gold laners and maybe assassins jungle as well. Like, you know, if he gets his items early, he gonna just one shot people with his ultimate, and I'm stoked to see that.
Yeah. Okay, I think so much of our viewers are actually like interacting with us. They're listening to us for quite a long time now. Once we are waiting for the game, please be patient with us, guys. We do not have the power to start the game immediately, and we do hope that you'll remain patient with us. We're just waiting.
Okay, I'm gonna start the game right now. Okay. Oh, it started, but we can't see.
That's right. You just have to imagine for now. Okay. Why don't we look at the other teams that are successful, man? I'm just gonna ask you because we've been talking about the teams that we are casting, but in a way, we also have to talk about the other playoff